evacuate.
We've got 100+ cars in Planada that are ruined through either natural causes by them sitting in the yard where the water came up, or numbskulls running barricades and thinking they should be able to go through there.
Officials are working to fortify Miles Creek. The National Weather Service in Hanford says Merced has seen 4.5 inches of rain for the month of January. Merced could see a 1/4 inch of rain from late Friday into early Saturday as part of the atmospheric river. Fresno could see up to 1.5 inches. Flights have resumed across the nation after a computer glitch resulted in an all-air traffic grounding this morning.
The FAA has lifted a ground stop that had been put in place as the agency worked to restore the notice-to-air missions system after an overnight outage. President Biden spoke to reporters this morning on the South Lawn of the White House, saying he told Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg to report directly to him on the matter.
Aircraft can still land safely. We don't know what the cause of it is.
Secretary Buttigieg tweeted saying the outage is, quote, fully restored, and he has directed an after-action process to determine the causes of the outage and recommend next steps. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
6 pilot projects to reduce fentanyl overdoses will see $5 million in funding in Governor Gavin Newsom's latest proposed state budget. Republican Valley Assemblymember Jim Patterson proposed the statewide pilot project, modeled after programs that are already in place in Fresno County. Once Newsom's budget is approved by the legislature, Patterson's office says local government agencies will be able to apply for grants to help expand efforts in their communities. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has activated the state's National Guard to respond to more than 700 migrants arriving in the Florida Keys over the New Year's weekend. At the White House, Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre responds.
We're talking about people who are coming from countries who are dealing with political strife, who are dealing with issues where they're trying to find asylum, and he treats them like pawns.
Governor DeSantis is criticizing President Biden's immigration policies in response to the migrants landing in the Florida Keys. New poultry producer guidelines are hoped to make consumers feel better about buying chicken. KMJ's Ag Director Don York explains.
The National Chicken Council is updating its broiler welfare guidelines. Now, those guidelines were first introduced more than 2 decades ago. It was an effort to help poultry producers show consumers that all the birds were being treated with respect and properly cared for. The updated guidelines include key welfare indicators like health, effective processing parameters, and minimizing leg and wing injuries. It also includes whistleblower protection, an additional focus on training programs for proper handling, and an increased focus on bird behavior. John York, KMJ News.
And you still have the chance to become the nation's next billionaire.
No winner for Tuesday's Mega Millions jackpot drawing, so coming up on what could be your lucky Friday the 13th, it's rolling over to $1.35 billion. Or you can choose the one-time cash payment option, nearly $709 million. The lottery operators say Friday's pot will be the second largest in Mega Millions history. The only one that was bigger was back in 2018, when it was at about $1.5 billion. Jill Nato, Fox News.
On Wall Street, the Dow added 268 points. Now here's Fox 26's Christina Lopez with our forecast.
Good Wednesday afternoon. Rain clouds return across the valley floor with a 40% chance of rain today, mainly between noon and 5 p.m. Cloudy skies with a high near 54 in the Fresno area with windy conditions. Expect gusts up to 15 miles per hour, a low of 54 degrees tonight. Expect rain showers to return in time for the weekend beginning on Friday, potentially bringing between 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of rain. At the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Christina Lopez for KMJ News. Stay safe on those roads.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
Thank you, Liz. And we have some problems to report in Hanford on eastbound 198 Enterprise. Got road closure there. And then Los Banos, Turner Island Road, and Henry Miller Avenue, roadway flooding being reported there. In and around Fresno and Clovis, there are lots of city workers working at trying to get some of these areas unflooded. So be cautious when you're driving around and you see them. Please slow down while they're trying to get everything back in order before the next storm hits. Next update, 217, Greg Lane, KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. MVP's bonus days are back for pros at Lowe's. Now through January 20th, pros save and earn bonus points on top brands like DeWalt. Join Lowe's MVP's program today and shop bonus days only at Lowe's.
Now, the Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi. Philip Teresi. Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
It's 2:06 on your Afternoon Drive at News Talk 580 and 1059 KMJ. Phones are open for your calls. 490-5858 and toll free 800-776-5858. Watch the show streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube, twitch.tv at Drive KMJ, and find us all over social media under the same handle, Drive KMJ. Joshua Weekly is standing by to screen your calls this afternoon as I am joined in the KMJ studio by political analyst Andrea Jones-Rivera. Welcome to KMJ.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
So I want to give people a little bit of the bio. I want to give folks a little bit of an idea of where you're coming from. But first, we're going to jump into it the way we usually do with the buzz question at KMJNow.com. House of Representatives voted to defund the addition of 87,000 Internal Revenue Service agents, while President Biden would like to ban gas stoves. Which one do you support? You can let us know. That buzz question is sponsored by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers. In the grand scheme of things, are either of these serving the interest of the American people?
Absolutely not.
What do you think about, because the 87,000 Internal Revenue Service agents that the House GOP under Speaker McCarthy would like to eliminate, that's really replacing agents, officers, and support staff from like janitor to secretary to IT guy because of COVID losses, retirements, and career transitions. Is the IRS going to be able to function if we don't replace bodies?
Well, of course, they already do function. I don't think that's the problem. I think that what we're dealing with here is throwing money at an unforeseen problem, really.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't need to have more IRS agents.
And
maybe they need to clean their floor better. Who knows? Maybe that's a problem internally within the service. But
87,000 feels like a big number to you.
It's a huge number. And I have a very good girlfriend who's high up at the IRS, and she's an attorney and an investigator. And I think I spoke with her the other day about this, and she was strong Republican, or I don't know. Yeah, since I'm not saying her name, I guess that's fine to say. But she would agree. There's no reason to increase by 87,000 agents. And the dollar amount associated is just so high.
It's a lot of money, and it still leaves the IRS as pound for pound the most profitable entity in the American government.
Well, it should be.
That's its job, yeah. I think that the gas stove ban is silly. I also think that it is delightful that the day that the gas stove ban was announced, that it was kind of put out to the world, Dr. Jill Biden posted a photo on Instagram. She was in the kitchen doing a little meal prep, and of course she was working on a gas stove.
Well, and I heard Christina Mousson say this morning that since she went from an electric stove to a gas range, it actually takes longer to heat up her water. So I'm not saying that I agree with, gas ranges, but I do think that the government telling me that I can't have one is a problem.
I understand the attractiveness of incentivizing folks to move away from natural gas appliances, from just a pure environmental standpoint.
Right.
I understand. And if you want to make that a part of like the solar incentive packages, I'm okay with that. If I want to go to Home Depot and buy a 6-burner downdraft Gen Air gas stove and oven combination to put in my kitchen at my expense, and I'm going to otherwise abide all of the things like building code that we all acknowledge are useful and helpful, get off my lawn.
Totally.
Get off my lawn. And having,
away. I mean, I have no time for that.
And I have, I've gone back and forth over the years, just from house to house. I've had different experiences. I want to cook on gas. I actually do not care in the rest of the house. I don't care about having gas appliances. Doesn't seem to make a difference with how effective my clothes dryer is. Doesn't seem to make my hot water any hotter when it's time to take a shower. I don't care about the rest of it. When it's time to make scrambled eggs, I want a gas burner. And obviously, the Bidens, being people of means, being able to go out and buy the best of whatever there is, agree, because that's what Jill's cooking on.
Right.
So this, and I know there's people who pile on and, oh, well, it's the rules for thee and not for me. I just think it's thoughtlessness.
I think it's just a quick knee-jerk response to a problem that we have, and they're trying to throw anything they can at us as the American people to try and deal with it.
So if you guys want to answer the buzz question, head over to kmjnow.com. Again, House of Representatives has voted to defund the addition of 87,000 Internal Revenue Service agents, while the Biden administration wants to ban your gas ranges. Let us know what you support. And again, the buzz question is sponsored by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Center. So coming up this afternoon, we're going to talk about what's happening with Madera Community Hospital. We're going to talk about this FAA outage. The system that was affected, I'm curious to hear from pilots and air crews what, if anything, you have to say about the surprise or lack thereof that the notice to airmen system would have dropped out the way that it did. And we'll talk about Gavin Newsom's plan for dealing with now a budget deficit here in California. But yesterday, we had a tornado warning in northern Tulare County.
Unbelievable.
It got canceled reasonably quickly. I mean, acknowledging that just a tornado warning, no matter how long it exists, is a little bit stressful. But it was there for about 30 minutes, and it came from the National Weather Service. They spotted a rotation on radar. I'm assuming that even, excuse me, I don't want to minimize the National Weather Service folks working in Hanford.
Right.
We don't have a lot of tornadoes in California.
No, that's why it's extra frightening for people.
I'm curious what that conversation was like, because you see storm patterns, and it seems like there's always at least a little bit of a turn or a spiral for the body of the storm.
Right.
Do you think that these guys sat there for a minute looking at the monitor and thought, okay, we got to call somebody in Kansas?
It's funny about federal government. I mean, that's how it kind of works, I suppose. But at the same time, because there were so many people on the ground, and that's like the benefit of social media, if you will.
Yeah.
There were so many people on the ground seeing it happen that they were sending video in. I mean, we got video here at KMJ. There were so many people sending video in that you couldn't deny it. You know, and so I think in that respect, because it's so new or novel for us to have something like that happen, I don't think it's bad to put the word out there, even if it did take 10 minutes. And by the time it was getting out to the public, it had already happened, if you will. I think it's important for people to be aware and pay attention when everybody's telling you to be aware of the weather anyway.
Do you know if there's a difference between a tornado and a funnel cloud? Because those little formations that we see kind of string down when it's windy, that's not a tornado.
No, but it's supposed to be the difference in speed.
Is that because I was thinking speed or mass?
Or speed or mass, yeah.
Yeah, because the videos that I've seen have all been little funnel clouds, just a poke out of the sky.
If they come all the way down to the ground.
Is that the difference?
I think that's the difference. I think that's when it's actually a tornado versus a funnel cloud. We've seen funnel clouds here in Fresno.
Oh yeah,
fairly frequently. But when it goes all the way to the ground, it's when has catastrophic effects, I suppose. I mean, not that I've never been in one, so I can't speak from my own personal experience. I can just speak from.
I've never been in a tornado. It's one of the features I enjoy about California is we don't have them. I have to admit, like, if there was a way to observe a tornado in the equivalent of whatever a shark cage would be for a tornado, I'd love to do that. Until that technology exists, I have no desire to be out in wind that can kill me by throwing pieces of my neighbor's fence at me.
Right.
Or my neighbor's house.
Well, and do they call them weather chasers or do they call them tornado chasers?
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't think of a worse job, to tell you the truth. Going.
Not a Bill Paxton fan, huh?
No. Well, I'm the great movie, but I don't know that I would want to. I don't know that I would want to do it for my daily life.
No,
or for seasonal work.
To watch it from a safe distance sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Or to watch it from if there were, and again, engineer Scotty's transparent aluminum shark tank, I'd be all about it. But no, as far as actually doing it, we have earthquakes. That's the deal, God.
Yeah.
Get earthquakes. Tornadoes aren't supposed to happen here.
Right, and if you think regionally, I mean, that's kind of what happens all over the country, right? Or probably the world, but specifically the United States. We have our earthquake regions, we have our tornado regions, we have our tsunami regions, or not tsunami, we have our hurricane regions, that kind of thing. You don't want to live in a place that has all three.
That's Andrea Jones-Rivera. I'm Philip Teresi. It's the Afternoon Drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. When we get back, a little bit more about the storm, some choice quotes from sheriffs in counties to the north of Fresno, and we will dive into Gavin Newsom and the budget for fiscal year 2023 in the state of California. It's going to be awesome, guys. Stick around. It's the Afternoon Drive on KMJ.
In Hanford right now, eastbound 198 at Enterprise Avenue, there is a hazard partial road blockage at that location. Los Banos, Turner Island Road at Henry Miller Avenue, complete roadway flooding there. And keep in mind that there is a lot of reported flooding and down trees in and around the Fresno Clovis area, so be real careful. 168 heading up to Shaver Lake. Look out for workers working on the road as well. Next update, 2:33. Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
California's acclaimed Harris Ranch Inn and Restaurant, among the first and largest farm-to-fork dining destinations in the San Joaquin Valley. It's the perfect drive-in or fly-in destination. Indulge in our prime steakhouse, where you'll enjoy our tender beef aged to perfection, or try our casual ranch kitchen for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Unwind in our Horseshoe Lounge, featuring your favorite cocktails, wine, and several beers on tap. Relax and enjoy an overnight stay in one of our spacious suites at the Harris Ranch Inn, where you'll experience first-class service. It's an oasis for travelers and locals alike. Join us where the West unwinds. Visit harrisranch.com.
Norman, before we start the surgery, I have some bad news.
What is it, doctor?
Well, I never graduated from med school. But the good news is, it's the Xfinity Hello 2023 sale. Now hurry, because new Xfinity customers can get 75 megabit internet for just $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. And this will get your heart rate up. When you add Xfinity Mobile, you get the best price for 2 lines of unlimited.
I gotta get this deal.
Plus, for a limited time, get $500 back with 2 new mobile lines.
That's amazing, Doc.
I know. I don't want to miss this deal. Let's reschedule.
Doc? Doc?
Drop everything and get to the Xfinity Hello 2023 sale now through January 10th. Go to Xfinity.com/Hello 2023. Call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Internet offer requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After term, regular rates apply. Xfinity Internet required for Xfinity Mobile. Compares Xfinity Unlimited Intro to lowest price 5G plans of top 3 carriers. Reduced speeds after 20 gigabytes of usage per line. Data thresholds may vary.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code DRIVER for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code DRIVER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code DRIVER for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
I have to say this. I am personally astounded how the Glass Shop in Visalia continues to do everything right. They're making some amazing business decisions, and that's great for you. Okay, so what now? No tax whatsoever on any windows up until April 15th. That'll save you plenty right there, especially if you got a big job. No taxes. They'll front that bill with Uncle Sam. You don't worry about it. Next, Scott has become kind of a living legend in this business of windows and doors and all of this stuff. He needs a title, like, shall we call him the Wizard of Windows? When he comes to your home, he'll tell you before you even know what you need, and this is blowing people's minds. He'll tell you what type of window, he'll tell you what brand. Now, you ultimately make the decision, but this guy knows. And the Glass Shop has windows that have a double lifetime warranty. You sell your home, and whoever buys the home gets that warranty as well. And they'll get it done like in 3 to 4 weeks, where most companies take 2 to 3 months. Click theglassshop.com. It's that simple. The Glass Shop in Visalia. Click theglassshop.com. There you go. Tax-free, don't forget.
Let's talk about Fresno. Not about politics or business. Let's talk about what we can do together to make Fresno a cleaner, greener, more beautiful place to live. That's why the city of Fresno has established a new department that's focused entirely on picking up trash, removing graffiti, planting trees, creating artwork, and engaging the community in projects that will improve Fresno's curb appeal. It's called Beautify Fresno. It's already making a big difference. We hope you're ready to help. Learn more about Beautify Fresno and how you can join this citywide effort at beautifyfresno.org.
2:22 at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. That's Andrea Jones-Rivera. It's your afternoon drive. Phones open at 490-5858 and 800-776-5858. We got Jeremy on the line. Jeremy, did you call in the funnel cloud / tornado that was going on yesterday in Tulare?
I did. I just picked up my daughter from the bus stop and just saw the storm in the distance. First of all, I'm a trained weather spotter, and I freelance for the National Weather Service. So was checking out the storm structure, and when I noticed rotation, I was time-lapsing it for a few minutes. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I need to call the National Weather Service, and called them up. When they answered, they were kind of like, oh, is that right? And kind of not really knowing what was going on. At least maybe the guy was a little dull that was over the phone, but I was more excited than he was. And about 45 seconds to about a minute later, that's when the tornado warning came over.
Jeremy, do you know what the difference is between a funnel cloud and a tornado? Can you define that for me? Because we see funnel clouds fairly regularly, but a tornado, so far as I know, those don't happen here much.
No, a funnel cloud is just a funnel cloud until the circulation actually touches the ground, and then that's when it becomes a tornado.
Got it.
So we weren't too far off, right? We weren't too far off.
No, not too far off at all. And, usually around in the Central Valley, we have what you call cold core funnels, and that's just spin-ups from a cold storm.
Sure.
So it's different than, say, mid-United States, where it's the cold versus warm air, moist air, and that's you get the bigger tornadoes.
So, Jeremy, I know that funnel clouds happen here somewhat regularly. I feel like I can recall seeing them at somewhat regular intervals. When's the last time we had a verified tornado touchdown in Central California that you know of?
So the biggest one that I could remember was it was an F2, and I could be wrong about it. EF2 is what they would call it. Touchdown right off the 99 and Clovis Avenue, right there in the orchard.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And that was years ago. But that's the only one that I could actually remember that was a big one that did some significant damage.
Now, who do we file complaints with if we get tornadoes and earthquakes? Because I feel like it should be one or the other.
Yeah, Mother Nature, file complaints with God. I don't know.
So 1962 was the first one on record, as far as tornadoes are concerned. And another one occurred in 1980.
Is that the one you're
Kings
thinking
County
of?
and Tulare.
No, I would have been just 1 year old or not even born on 1980. If I can remember right, I was a teenager when that happened.
Okay, you and I are about the same age, so I'm going to have to sit down look back and see if anybody makes mention of it in any of the yearbooks. Jeremy, I appreciate the call, and I appreciate you helping the National Weather Service keep an eye on things. I'm glad that it worked out the way it did.
We had another one in 2000
Mm-hmm.
and another one in 2006, as far as I can tell, in the immediate.
Does it happen to say what the classifications of any of those are? Like
F2 for both of them.
Okay.
And, yeah.
So significant, probably not something to go drive your car into, but also not full-blown twister grade tearing down barns and sending cattle hurtling through space.
Correct. And it says, at least what finding from the National Weather Service is that they didn't happen. They have only been F2s since they started recording them here.
Okay. I'm going to maintain my position that we have enough to put up with here between fentanyl and earthquakes, and so I don't think we should have to tolerate tornadoes in addition to that. But until somebody can get me an address to file a complaint, I guess I'm going to let it hang. We have got just a brief video here from the Merced County Sheriff, Vern Warnke. There is a segment of this that I want to turn into my new ringtone. He posted this last night talking about the flooding in Merced County and the efforts being made to keep people safe.
Brought in special assignment people. We've got our high water rescue vehicles out. The community of Planada has been inundated, and the rain that we are receiving in the foothills above Planada in Mariposa County are soon to be coming into town. The rain water, obviously, has been rising rapidly. We've got areas where our high water rescue vehicles, where the bottom of the doors are 5 feet, the water's still getting into the cabs in these trucks. We've had people absolutely, completely disregarding the barricades. Folks, that's for your safety. We had a little bit ago in Planada come across the railroad tracks thinking they were going to be cute, got into the water, and then next thing you know, they become bobbers. Their cars are now ruined. We've got 100+ cars in Planada that are ruined through either natural causes by them sitting in the yard where the water came up, or numbskulls running barricades and thinking they should be able to go through there. We've got a couple of really big lifted 3/4 ton trucks that we couldn't pull through there because the water was above the bed line on this. So folks, when we are talking to you about the safety, this is very real. Don't think it's a game. Don't think it's fun. It's not. People's lives are at risk, and we're doing everything we can to get to them. I want to thank Sheriff Breeze from Mariposa County. He's given us a couple pieces of equipment to help in Planada, and it's working. We've got a lot of people that are trying to get out of there and trying to get to our evacuation center at the fairgrounds. The bus in Merced is sending buses regularly to there and bringing people back to Merced. Now, Highway 140 from Arboleda to Planada, unless you're in a specialized vehicle, and I don't mean when you think is a 3/4 ton lifted truck that's going to work, don't do it. The water there for about a mile or two was 8-10 inches deep running across there. It's so deep and so fast, the railroad ties that were laying next to the railroad tracks were lifted up and brought across the road. We have to clear those. We've had Caltrans out with plows trying to keep things moving. It's just been tough. So folks, if you're out there, if you are in an area that needs to be evacuated, evacuate. Because we're getting folks out there, and I was going through some numbers. We got like 9,000 people in an area here, 4,100 in Planada alone, that we got to get out.
That's Merced County Sheriff Vern Warnke, and I'm going to go back and extract him calling the guys in the jacked up pickup trucks blowing through barricades numbskulls.
I'm all for it. I mean, come on. That's ridiculous.
Some of these guys spend tens of thousands of dollars getting their trucks dialed in, lifted, right. the splash guards, the lift kits,
new
the
rims,
off-road tires.
Probably speakers too for some of them, right?
Oh God, yes. They're cool trucks. And I remember as a kid in high school Yeah, I was very unfortunate. I had a Chevy Cavalier, so there was no mud bogging for me. But I remember going out and watching the guys with the 4x4s do that. This ain't that. This is a natural disaster.
No, you're not invincible from Mother Nature. I mean, Mother Nature's going to take you down if you get arrogant, you know.
So the Red Cross of Central California has started setting up evacuation facilities. I know they've got the one going up in Oakhurst. They've got another one down on the flatlands in Madera County, and we'll get you the information about those. We talked with Red Cross earlier this week, but we're seeing something here that we have not experienced in this region in a very, very long time. And when the sheriff, Merced County, Fresno County, any of these regions, says, "Hey, take it easy. Let's try and maintain order." Numbskulls almost seems like too kind of a word for the people who are generating a call for help because they ignored the warning not to go through.
Well, that's true too, but you can't not rescue them, right? You have to rescue them.
You know that parable about the guy on the roof?
Survival of the fittest. Here we go.
It's the afternoon drive on KMJ. That's Andrea Jones-Rivera. I'm Philip Teresi. It's news time now with Liz Kern in the KMJ newsroom.
KMJ News now.
Merced County Sheriff's deputies are looking for a man suspected in a double homicide in Hilmar last night. 40-year-old Victor Bazan is suspected of killing 2 adults at a home on American Avenue near Lander. They believe that Bazan is related to one of the victims. He is a transient known to live in the Modesto, Ceres, and Turlock areas, and there is a warrant for his arrest. You can call in any tips to the Merced County Sheriff's Office. Just in, musician Jeff Beck has died suddenly after contracting bacterial meningitis. That's according to his family. Beck and Johnny Depp had just released an album this year called 18 in July.
Just a boy and a little girl trying to change the whole wide world. Isolation.
Beck said at the time they called the album 18 because the duo felt like they were 18 again and making music together. The two original songs were written by Depp himself. Beck was one of rock's legendary guitarists. He first burst onto the scene as a member of the British band The Yardbirds, and he joined the band as a replacement for fellow guitar legend Eric Clapton back in 1965. Beck died at the age of 78. On Wall Street, the Dow ended up 268 points, closing at 33,973. The S&P 500 gained 50 points. NASDAQ added 189. It's 2:33 right now. Valley weather, 56 currently at Radio City. We've been seeing precipitation on and off at Radio City. Fox 26's Christina Lopez has more of our Wednesday forecast.
Happy Wednesday afternoon to you. Right here in the Fresno area, cloudy skies with a high near 54 with windy conditions and rain beginning between noon and 5 p.m. Expect gusts up to 15 miles per hour, a low of 54 degrees tonight. Rain showers will return in time for the weekend beginning on Friday, potentially bringing between a tenth to a quarter of an inch of rain. At the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Christina Lopez for KMJ News. Make it a great afternoon.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
Thank you, Liz. On the roadways, westbound 180, west of the Bryant Kern Canal, got a hazard being reported. Use caution in that area. In Hanford, eastbound 198 at Enterprise, we've got some road closure being reported. And Los Banos, Turner Island Road and Henry Miller Road, roadway flooding is there as well. Our next update is at 2:47. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. MVP's bonus days are back for pros at Lowe's. Now through January 20th, pros save and earn bonus points on top brands like DeWalt. Join Lowe's MVP's program today and shop bonus days only at Lowe's.
Chris Daniel for Breadcrumbs Cybersecurity. Has your organization fallen victim to cyber attack? Are you dealing with suspicious employee activity? Do what other organizations have already done and call Breadcrumbs Cybersecurity. From complex cybercrime to data breach and fraud, the experts at Breadcrumbs deliver results, period. Call them today, 559-578-4800, 578-4800, or go online to breadcrumbscyber.com, because evidence is everywhere.
Turn to the experts with Carrier.
Okay, Andrea and Eddie, ready to record?
Okay, Andrea, real quick. How do you say it again?
It's Allbritton's Complete Furnace Revitalization.
Get Allbritton's Complete Furnace Revitalization.
Not bad. Maybe a little more on the zation.
Get Allbritton's Complete Furnace Revitalization. Oh, man, this is tough.
No, it's good. And you know, folks really need this service before they run their furnace this year.
Well, our furnace revitalization makes your heater blow like it's young again.
We professionally clean all elements, lubricate all moving parts,
Test all safety sensors, check for carbon monoxide leaks,
install a brand new air filter, and then we recalibrate your heating system back to factory fresh condition.
all for just $129.
Right.
Get Allbritton's Complete Furnace Revitalization. Okay, I think I got it.
Call Allbritton now for your $129 Complete Furnace Revitalization. Online at allbritton.com.
Ever wished your trees could speak? Well, they do. And with FineTech, you can start listening. In fact, as crop prices drop and water costs rise, there's never been a more crucial time to listen to your trees. FineTech connects growers to their trees, enabling enhanced visibility of their operation and helping them maximize yields while saving water. Contact us at FineTech.com and we'll connect you to growers that are listening to their trees. That's FineTech, PhyTech.com.
This report is sponsored by SRGExpress.com. Use the experts on hiring for accounting roles. Visit SRGExpress.com to connect with the accounting workforce pros. The specialized recruiting group takes an individual approach, placing people in contract and full-time roles. SRGExpress.com.
It's new, it's huge, and he's there 7 days a week. Lou Rodman's Patio Barstool and Amish Emporium. Where? Right next to Fashion Furniture across from Lowe's. There is nothing like this.
Former Navy SEAL Sean Ryan shares real stories from real people from all walks of life on The Sean Ryan Show. Wealth strategist Rob Luna.
If you could solve a problem in this world better than anyone else, you're going to make a lot of money. And that's really what a business's ultimate goal is, whether it's your business or a manufacturing business. It's about solving a problem, making a bigger impact in people's lives than anyone else on scale.
I mean, I've been trying to scale my business, but I can't find somebody to conduct these interviews.
The Sean Ryan Show on YouTube or wherever you listen.
Welcome back to the Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi. I'm Andrea Jones, guest hosting today with Philip. A quick aside, I have to say hello to my children, especially Finn, who's home today after getting a huge knock to his head last night by the laundry room door.
What did he do today? You got in a fight with the door?
He got in a fight with the door. He just took off around the corner and ran into the door. So, love you guys, but I promised a shout out today.
Have you noticed, because you have 3 total, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I've got 2, but I've also got a 9-year age gap between them.
Mm-hmm.
From kid to kid, the propensity for self-injury, not intentional,
right,
but running into doors, pratfalls, all that stuff, from kid to kid, it can be so different.
It's crazy. My oldest would duck under a table from the time he was 2 and would never hit his head.
Yeah.
My middle one is like a gymnast, can twerk her body into all different crazy places and never gets hurt. My youngest has an issue with running into the wall or running into a doorknob or getting too wild at night. It's quite fascinating. And they're all wonderful personalities and endearing. It's just same kids, same parents can have completely different kind of luck, if you will.
My oldest was a pretty cautious kid. Not to say that he didn't go out and ride his bike and teach himself to skateboard and all of that.
Right.
But there was a mindfulness about what he was doing. My youngest, 3 broken arms by the time we got out of first grade.
Wow.
Taking a gymnastics class. One time, he and my wife were out on a walk through the neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
And this kid had already broken his arm once.
You're kidding me.
And he's on a little, it wasn't even a razor scooter. It was a child's scooter. And he's buzzing along with my wife, who's out for a jog, and she's got, Teddy the pit bull going with her.
Right.
And they get to the corner, and the kid just falls over.
Yeah.
It doesn't even look like anything. And the kid gets up, Mom, I think I broke my arm again.
And sure enough.
because he knew what it felt like.
Right.
And sure enough, we take him in. It was a green stick fracture.
And, I mean, and think about the amount of time you spend in a cast at that age. It's so long.
It feels like eternity.
Yeah.
But yeah, my young
the parent and the child.
So my mini me, the younger one, the 15-year-old, has stopped actually breaking bones, but is still going to be the one to just like walk through a door.
Right. Maybe he's Superman. Maybe that's his superpower.
We just had to get past 7 years old to become indestructible.
So it's not technically your doing, your fault, your watch. It doesn't happen on your watch anymore at that point.
I figure at this point, 15 years old, if you break a bone, you did it.
Yeah.
So that music you're hearing in the background, Beck's Bolero, Jeff Beck, the news just came out. Jeff Beck has passed away at 78 years of age. Story broke in the New York Times just a little while ago. And we'll have more of his music as we kind of move through the afternoon. But
speaking of music, did you see the Rolling Stone Top 200 today?
I did not.
Top 200 singers.
Oh.
And the big uproar of the whole thing is that Celine Dion did not make it into the top 200 singers of all time. Now, number one was Aretha Franklin.
She's pure and powerful.
Right. But Celine Dion, top 200 for sure.
It is my belief that everybody's got one of something in them.
Right.
And for some people, it's a hit song. For some people, it's a great show. For everybody's got one of something in them. We've all got some untapped, stuff in the basement moment that, if you're lucky, you get to realize. You take somebody like Beck, who basically influenced rock guitar, starting with the Yardbirds, and I mean, that's Led Zeppelin. It spins off into all of hard rock, contemporary rock, even the hair metal guys. Yeah, you have this massive shadow.
Mm-hmm.
Celine Dion has a beautiful voice. Does she cast that same kind of shadow versus somebody like Aretha Franklin?
Here's my problem. Billie Eilish was 198, and Celine Dion didn't make the list. So I kind of have an issue with I don't know what the arbitrary guidelines were, because it doesn't really say. It's quite arbitrary, really. Personal preference, whoever was in the editorial room, I mean, you know how this works, who was there at the time when they're voting. It wasn't voted on by their
fans
viewership.
of Titanic, yeah.
But I think that's a pretty big oversight. And I'm going to venture to guess.
Out of a list of 200,
I'm going to venture to guess that if Billie Eilish is 198, that they just completely just forgot, jumped the shark, weren't paying attention because she hasn't put out new music in the last few years.
Yeah, she's got that, I forget what the name of it was. Well, no, Celine Dion has this, she was diagnosed with some kind of very rare disease. Yeah. It's locked-in man syndrome, stiff man syndrome, something like that.
Right, and so she can't sing right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, she's probably done performing. I think Billie Eilish has an interesting voice, although I would be willing to entertain an argument that a lot of what makes Billie Eilish interesting is actually the production of her voice in the context of the track. I don't think I've ever heard her sing a cappella, whereas there's no argument Celine Dion, if called upon in her prime, could have gone toe-to-toe, I think, with Whitney Houston, who I'm very surprised didn't top Aretha Franklin on the list.
And she was, though, in the top 10.
Yeah, sure, she should be.
Yeah.
Just by virtue of her rendition of the national anthem alone, she deserves a spot in the top 10. Mm-hmm. Is it an output question? I mean, besides My Heart Will Go On, I know Celine Dion did other work, but was there anything else that her fans would point to and say, well, you forgot about this. What about that song?
I don't know. I think that there has to be something. We have to say something for the fact that she's been doing this for 30 years.
Oh, yeah.
that has to go into it somewhere. And, in spite of all of her issues with her voice or the new disease, or it's a disease, right? That
it's a neurological thing. It's a musculoskeletal thing, and I don't remember the specifics of it. I just remember seeing the common name and thinking, okay, that sounds really unpleasant.
Right. And it seizes her vocal cords and that kind of thing.
I think, unfortunately, eventually it's gonna cause everything to lock up. What are her biggest hits, though?
My Heart Will Go On. I don't think anybody listening wants me to try and sing it for y'all. but
yeah,
it's one of them.
So dumping it into Google.
Okay, so I'm gonna drop you with the top 10. Okay.
Yeah.
The number 10 is Al Green. Number 9, Otis Redding.
Okay.
Beyonce, number 8.
Okay.
Stevie Wonder, number 7. Ray Charles, number 6. Mariah Carey, number 5, which is kind of surprising to me. Anyway, just opinion. Billie Holiday, number 4. Sam Cooke, number 3. Whitney Houston, number 2. And number 1, obviously, we already spoke of. Aretha Franklin.
So to go back to Mariah Carey for a minute, I feel like Mariah Carey is kind of the Eddie Van Halen of vocalists. There's something distinctive there.
Okay.
There's something that the fans absolutely love there. But if you get down and you really analyze it, it's a one-trick pony. Mm-hmm. And with Eddie Van Halen, it was always the ability to move through scales in just a stupid fast way that nobody's ever been able to really duplicate.
Right.
And so he had his distinctive sound, but outside of that, moving through the scales, I would argue that his guitar work on any given track generally could be duplicated by any, top level name recognition guitar. Slash could play almost anything Eddie Van Halen played. With Mariah Carey, it's that ability to swing through. How many octaves does her voice hit? I mean, like nobody else.
Right. I have no idea, but a lot.
But if you take away that one trick, is there anything that distinctive about her music?
Well, and I would argue that Celine Dion could do the same thing easily.
So the biggest songs that are listed for Celine Dion, we're going to have to get into these in a minute here. But the first one that pops up, My Heart Will Go On.
Right.
And then when we get back, I'll give you guys the name of some of these songs. I challenge you, without Googling it, to tell me the lyrics of anything other than Happy Christmas.
On the Fresno streets right now, westbound 180, west of the Frank Kern Canal, we got a hazard being reported. Also, Olive Avenue at Brawley, there is a problem. This is westbound Brawley, and there's a hazard in the roadway there, causing a little bit of slow-go traffic. Los Banos, Turner Island Road at Henry Miller Road, got some roadway flooding. And there's sprinkles being reported throughout the valley right now. Not heavy rain, just sprinkles, but it's enough to make the roads a little slippery again. So be very careful and watch your speeds. Next update is at 3:03. Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. MVP's bonus days are back for pros at Lowe's. Now through January 20th, pros save and earn bonus points on top brands like DeWalt. Join Lowe's MVP's program today and shop bonus days only at Lowe's.
California is in one of the worst droughts ever. Is your well almost dry, or is it dry? Are you on a waiting list to have a well drilled? Have you been turned away from other drilling companies who can't handle the hard rock drilling conditions in your area? This is a major epidemic, and we have your solution. Strickland Well Drilling is here for you. With over 2 decades of experience specializing in residential, agricultural, and hard rock drilling, Strickland Well Drilling proudly serves Fresno, Tulare, Kings, and Madera counties. Don't wait. Make the call today at 352-7228. Again, 352-7228. Or for more information, visit StricklandWellDrilling.com. Whether it's the soft, sandy soils of the west, the clay and cobble of the east, or the hard rock mountainous terrain, Strickland Well Drilling has the equipment and expertise to handle your individual water well needs. Access to clean water is vital, and Strickland Well Drilling knows you can't afford to wait. Call for a no-cost detailed estimate today. Strickland Well Drilling, dedicated to keep the valley flowing. Make the call today, 352-7228, or visit StricklandWellDrilling.com.
The best business networking event of the year is here once again. The Business Journal's 2023 Book of Lists Party is Tuesday, January 17th at Pardini's Catering and Banquets in Fresno. This is your opportunity to network with Valley business owners and decision makers. You don't want to miss the party of the winter. Your $70 ticket includes drinks, dinner, and a copy of the only business-to-business guide in the Valley before it's released to the public. The Business Journal's Book of Lists is a who's who of the Valley's top companies with fresh data and contact information. The Business Journal's Book of Lists Party is sponsored by Comcast Business, Premier Valley Bank, and United Health Centers. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit thebusinessjournal.com or call Ashley Webster Rudolph, 259-0531. That's 259-0531. Don't wait. Tickets will sell out. Go to thebusinessjournal.com or call 259-0531.
Ad paid for by Montreal Drugstore. Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. PowerPill allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 per pill? Call today and get 50 Viagra pills for only $99. This could cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call this if you want Viagra at the lowest prices. Never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 per pill. Call 800-204-0017 today to save up to $500 and get 50 pills for just $99. PowerPill is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 800-204-0017 to take your call now. Call 800-204-0017. That's 800-204-0017. Again, 800-204-0017.
It's Chris Daniel for Unwired Broadband. Still living in the country for 14 years with Unwired. Why would I leave? Why would I not avail myself to the service you could get in the cities that isn't provided to people who choose to live in the country? Why would I put myself through sketchy satellite service? Why would I put myself through gouging rates just because they could get a signal to my house from space? I never wanted satellite internet anyway, and Unwired isn't. I get unlimited data, guaranteed speeds. It's great for streaming and gaming, and it's all fast, affordable, and reliable. And none of those stinking hidden fees either. Don't get held hostage by people who think and act like you don't have a choice in internet service if you choose to live somewhere out there. And it's more than just my house. What about your farm? What about your enterprise? What about your job that depends on ag? Unwired checks all the boxes. Unwired Broadband. Call 559-261-4444 or go to getunwired.com. Get Unwired.
Vote on the Daily Buzz question at KMJNow.com. Sponsored by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Center.
Rolling up on 3 o'clock on your afternoon drive at News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Philip Teresi, Andrea Jones. Phone's open for you at 490-5858 or toll free at 800-776-5858. And sad news just breaking during the show today that Jeff Beck has passed away at the age of 78. And that kind of, we pivoted from that into this Rolling Stone Top 200 vocalist list because there was a admittedly super conspicuous snub. Celine Dion. Billie Eilish got in at 198, but Celine Dion is not anywhere on the list.
It's just really remarkable to me. And I don't know if it was just natural snub, like inadvertent, or...
So, the most obvious piece of music, the thing that everybody's going to point to, My Heart Will Go On.
Mm-hmm.
In her top 10 songs that pop up when you go to Google when you look for Celine Dion.
Right.
The next one that I am confident I would know the lyrics to is Happy Christmas. She did a cover of the Lennon tune.
Mm-hmm.
After that, It's All Coming Back to Me Now.
Great song.
Might recognize it if I heard it. All By Myself. She did a cover.
Come on.
That's the Way It Is. I'm Alive. The Power of Love. I want to know if Celine Dion did a Huey Lewis cover. Because You Loved Me.
You know that one.
I think I know that one.
Again, I'm not going to sing it for you, but you know that song.
Just Walk Away. And then it's a French title. Pourquoi tu m'aimes encore. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong because I don't speak French and definitely don't do Quebecy nose in the air French.
Yeah.
I definitely don't know that song.
I don't think I do either.
So of her top 10, we've got a couple of tracks that, again, if we played them, people will go, oh, yeah, that song. Is oh, yeah, that song enough to be in the top 200 vocalists?
No. Okay. Tell me 5 Mariah Carey songs, for example, or 5 Billie Eilish songs for that example. For that.
No idea.
Or Marianne Faithfull.
Well, there's Memory Remains.
Right, but I could only think of one.
That's Andrea Jones. I'm Philip Teresi. It's the Afternoon Drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Coming up in the 3 o'clock hour, we will talk about what's going on in Madera with the hospital and also this FAA outage and a nationwide ground stop earlier today. Everybody gets to live the Southwest nightmare for a couple of hours on a Wednesday in January. This is KMJ. Stick around.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at kmjnow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
NEM 3.0 is on the horizon and change is coming. Call Solar Negotiators today to find out how you can lock in your savings under California's current solar policy. Speak with a consultant today to get pre-qualified for a zero-down, low-interest rate loan and go 18 months with no payments. Go solar with confidence through Solar Negotiators, your lifetime energy partner. To learn more about NEM 3.0 or to get a free quote, visit solarnegotiators.com.
You know the first floor at Crawdaddy's can get a little wild. When the crawdads kick it in and the crowd begins to rev up, it's like party time. The food, the service, the music, outrageous on that first floor, the legendary first floor of Crawdaddy's. A freestanding 3-story monument to all that is New Orleans. But maybe you are a bit more reserved. You'd like to quietly lay back in an opulent atmosphere with nothing but first-class food. An amazing long bar to satisfy your adult cravings. I recently took a very quiet table confined to a corner, had my favorite calamari appetizer with a lobster tail as the main entree. Very opulent, very relaxing, but at Crawdaddy's, it's the best of both worlds, the first or the second floor. Hey, you can always do both. You can go up to the second floor and relax with an incredible menu and that gorgeous atmosphere. And then you can go downstairs and rock until you blow your socks off. Crawdaddy's on Main and Visalia. And what's on the third floor? I'm never telling.
Give mealybugs an inch, they'll take an acre. Mealybugs can move through your vineyard quickly. So, you have to stop mealybug damage early. That's why you should apply Applaud Insect Growth Regulator at Delayed Dormant. Applaud will control overwintering nymphs and hatching eggs, which will reduce mealybug populations to more manageable levels in season. If you want clean grapes, stop mealybugs before they start. Ask your PCA or Need to Know America sales rep about Applaud today. Always read and follow label directions carefully.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code DRIVER for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code DRIVER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code DRIVER for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
News Talk, 580 AM, 105.9 FM, KMJ, Fresno, a Cumulus Media station.
KMJ.
It's 3 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. This news update sponsored by Best Concrete Blocks, the old Fresno company with new ideas. Several atmospheric rivers wreaked havoc here in California. Fox's Kristen Goodwin reports.
At least 17 people have died from 6 atmospheric river storms to hit California, 2 recent deaths from lightning strikes. And a 5-year-old boy is still missing on the Central Coast after floodwaters swept away his mother's vehicle. Millions are under flood watches as response crews scramble to clear roads from downed trees, mud, and rock slides. Pacific Gas and Electric says it's working to restore power to more than 43,000 still without it. Emergency crews had to pull 2 people to safety this week after 2 vehicles fell into a massive sinkhole. And at Union Station in Los Angeles, a pedestrian walkway leading to the train platforms flooded. Forecasters warn the storms will continue for at least another week. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
Highway 168 towards Shaver Lake partially open after a severe rock slide earlier this week. The highway became open to one-way traffic yesterday. Caltrans officials said the rest of the lanes are closed the next 5 days because the upcoming weather can make the roads unsafe. This is the second time the highway was closed in the past 2 weeks. Another rock slide happened about a mile away in late December. Many schools reopening today after some classes were canceled earlier in the week because of the heavy rainfall. Foothill Elementary School, Sierra High School, and Sierra Junior High School at Sierra Unified School District will reopen. The school started 2 hours later than usual today, and all schools in Mariposa County having the same schedule. The president claims he was surprised classified government documents were discovered in one of the private offices he used after leaving the Obama administration. Fox's David Spunt has more from the Justice Department.
DOJ officials, unfortunately, are not commenting on this, and DOJ officials typically don't comment on cases like this. We wish we could find out more. We want to hear from Attorney General Merrick Garland. But what I can tell you is that Merrick Garland is facing an increasing amount of pressure here because he is in an uncomfortable position right now. We're talking about an issue dealing with his boss, President Joe Biden. Now, Merrick Garland appointed U.S. Attorney John Losh, who's the U.S. attorney based in Chicago, to investigate the classified documents found at Biden's private office at the Penn Center in Washington, D.C. 2 men hurt and a driver arrested after a hit-and-run crash in Fresno. Police officials says the incident happened this morning after the driver of a black truck ran a red light, hitting 2 men in a gold car. The truck driver fled the scene but was spotted on Highway 41, then arrested. The 2 men taken to the hospital, and the passenger is listed in critical condition.
Good Wednesday afternoon. Rain clouds return across the valley floor with a 40% chance of rain today, mainly between noon and 5 p.m. Cloudy skies with a high near 54 in the Fresno area with windy conditions. Expect gusts up to 15 miles per hour, a low of 54 degrees tonight. Expect rain showers to return in time for the weekend beginning on Friday, potentially bringing between a tenth to a quarter of an inch of rain. At the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Christina Lopez for KMJ News. Stay safe on those roads.
Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Christina Lopez. With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Joe Miller for News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
Thanks, Jim. On the roadways, we got some problems. West Olive Avenue in Brawley got an abandoned vehicle. It's causing a hazard in the roadway there. Roadway flooding in Los Banos, Turner Island Road, and Henry Miller Road. In Hanford, on eastbound 198 at Enterprise, road is closed there. Watch your speeds when you're on the roadways. Next update, 317. Greg Lane, KMJ Traffic.
Filtered water in your home is easier than ever. Hey, it's me, Appleton. Taste and feel the difference with LifeSource Water. Visit LifeSourceWater.com. Call them, 559-449-8822.
A little more Jeff Beck on a rainy Wednesday afternoon at News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ. The news breaking this afternoon, Jeff Beck passed away at the age of 78. He was at a hospital near his home in Surrey, and it was bacterial meningitis, according to his publicist, Melissa Dragage. There's a hell of a story here. I mean, You want to talk about somebody who cast a long and indelible shadow in rock music. Besides Jeff Beck, I mean, Eric Clapton and everybody subsequent to the Yardbirds, right? That's that whole, as those pasty white British guys discovered Delta blues, it was Jeff Beck and Eric Clapton that led the pack. I also like the New York Times obituary. 3 years later, when Beck formed his own group, later known as the Jeff Beck Group, along with a little-known singer Rod Stewart and the equally obscure Ronnie Wood on bass. That's a loss. That sucks. So we'll have a little bit more of Jeff Beck's music throughout the show this afternoon. Phones are open for you, 490-5858, 800-776-5858. You can find us on social media, too, at Drive KMJ. Andrea Jones is over there. I'm Philip Teresi. Check the show out on social media at Drive KMJ and find us streaming live, YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch.tv, also at Drive KMJ. Out in Madera, things are getting increasingly real with each passing day. The closure of Madera Community Hospital has loomed large, and it's been a component of several emergency declarations and requests for emergency declarations. After 50 years of service, the hospital was forced to file for bankruptcy, and a potential sale with Trinity Healthcare, the group that owns St. Agnes Medical Center, didn't work out. Today, from 9 to noon, this is when you know, like, okay, hope's starting to get thin.
Real. Yeah.
Today, the hospital held a job fair for their own employees out at the Madera Workforce Assistance Center, and this was for clinical and non-clinical people. I mean, when you start sourcing out your staff
and giving them an option to find another job immediately, or trying to,
that's
not.
No, it's
It shows you how much have a hold that hospital has on the community too. I mean, how many people they employ.
So
a closure like that could be devastating. You know, I mean, could really be devastating for the whole community, besides the ramifications for just the health of your community.
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, we have been talking about the impact in terms of the patients and how many people are now going to have to get an airlift to Merced. They're going to have to hustle into Fresno for emergency care.
Right. And once they get to the emergency anywhere, they're going to be waiting there for hours and hours because of COVID and RSV and all these other flu-related illnesses, if you will.
Exactly right. The ERs are already full. So if you aren't coming in on a life flight, you may be sitting in the lobby for a while.
Exactly.
You add to that the drain that is going to happen, because if you take, I mean, and I don't know how many people exactly worked at Madera Community Hospital. I would guess that you're talking about at least several hundred individual employees when you get from every classification,
I agree.
From janitor to hospital director.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those people are going to find jobs that are not Madera, and they're going to take that money with them. If you're a physician in Madera right now, you've got to be looking at points north and south, just as a matter of survival. I'm not even talking about cold-blooded capitalism here. Just I'm a doctor. I've got a family to feed, and there's no hospital in town anymore.
Well, right, and think about just how many nurses that we're shy of everywhere, and those positions are being taken up by traveling nurses.
Yeah,
and so you're losing that group, both of traveling nurses and of local talent, because they're not going to be able to jump just here to Clovis or here to Fresno and get a new job. I would think of all the positions in the hospital, I would think the nurses will probably have the easiest time replacing that income because of that shortage. You're probably right. At the same time, it's just one of those things where you don't want to lose that base within your community.
Exactly. And so the Madera County Board of Supervisors is exploring every option, and one that's being considered now is to peel off about half of their remaining American Rescue Plan Act money. So this is COVID relief funds, one-time funding that came in. And they've still got not quite $15 million. Mm-hmm. So they could pull, in theory, $7 million off of that to try and shore up the hospital. But it's already closed. So I don't know if this is shutting the door after the horses left the barn.
I mean, it could be the only one of the very few positive things that comes out of COVID, in that they've been given funding. So use it where it can be used immediately and use it well. I don't know how long $7 million would keep them running. I mean, I don't know their budget, but I don't know how long it would keep them running.
Yeah.
And so if it gave them enough time to, partner with with the community centers here, or if it gave them enough time to find a new buyer or a new person to come in and help them figure out how they got all their funding so wrong, because maybe they only need to close like a half a wing if they have a little more time, right? But
at the very least, reopen the ER.
Yeah,
absolutely. For that life-saving intensive care. If this person isn't in front of a doctor in 5 minutes, they're dead kind of stuff.
Right.
But you could tell me that $7 million will run an emergency room for a month. You could tell me that $7 million will run an emergency room for a quarter. In a community the size of Madera, either one of those answers to me seems plausible. And I know that the Madera County Board of Supervisors is looking at it through a much more informed lens. Now, what they're saying here is the largest chunk of this money would come from the Projects in Disadvantaged Communities budget. That would be about $3.5 million, followed by about $1.5 million worth of small business grants, and then another $1 million that was going to come off of their preservation of essential services allocation, which feels like exactly what this is.
Yeah. I'm seeing also that it would be about $1.5 million for hiring through the next election.
Okay.
Just for hiring.
Just for hiring.
Right. But then that would lead you to believe that $7 million is going to last longer than I would think.
One would hope.
Because of the size, maybe the size of the community, maybe the size of how often they use the facilities actually being used or at capacity. I think maybe in no small part, this is one of those smaller hospitals that has been extraordinarily affected by COVID.
So Supervisor Rob Poitras weighed in saying, quote, "I don't really see any end to this until the state of California and those that manage the reimbursements, like Medi-Cal, have raised reimbursements to a level that allows us to serve our people here." And I think that was one of the components that ran off Trinity Healthcare in that plan for them to buy this out, because it was really kind of a three-pronged issue. You had the California Attorney General's office coming in, trying to impose conditions that looked an awful lot to me like Sacramento agenda, and not, hey, that guy's bleeding to death, let's close the hole in his chest.
There are not people, it's what makes you realize that hospitals, to some extent, really are money-making enterprises, 100%, right? You go in, you come out with a bill that says $200,000, $300,000, $500,000. I mean, astronomical numbers, right? And if you have good insurance, you're only on the hook for $50,000 of that.
Sure.
It's still $50,000.
Oh, yeah.
And there are not many families who can pull that off.
No,
but they inflate these bills, and so, to expect a hospital to kind of absorb that and staff accordingly, you're not going to end up in much above. You're not going to end up in the green. But you're going to pad the pockets of whoever owns the hospital. And there's no incentive for them to jump in and actually take a small chance, like the outfit that was coming in to do that for Madera would have done, if it wasn't like, oh, we're just looking at the bottom line. This is probably happening all over the country.
I think that when you look at it, whether you're talking about a smaller group like Trinity Healthcare, or you start talking about, regionally speaking, a heavy hitter like Community, I have zero objection to these entities turning a profit and being able to improve services, attract and retain bigger and better staffs, and by the way, also roll up to work in an S-Class Mercedes. If you're literally saving lives, you have that much value in the community.
I'm all for capitalism.
The problem here, as I am reading it with reimbursements, is that like the Medi-Cal reimbursements weren't even covering the cost, not the profit margin cost, but so that we don't operate at a loss, the actual cost of people using the emergency room, sometimes for emergencies, sometimes as a free health clinic.
Cold, yeah.
The other piece, and I haven't seen this reported anywhere in local media, and I'm curious to see what the commentary's like when the questions start flying on this. Rumors of scandal and investigations into padding of bills.
Right.
And again, it's all rumor and innuendo at this point. I'm hearing murmuring from people who may or may not be in a position to speak knowledgeably. But if the issue is that Madera Community Hospital was mismanaged, it seems like job one would be to bring in better management. But right on the heels of that is the money. You have to pay people to come in and run things in an above board way.
Why, though, wouldn't I agree with what you're saying, but why wouldn't community hospitals come in when they're doing as well as they are and take over, recognizing that it would take care of some of their input, like their inflow of patients and that kind of thing. And also, if they could make money doing it, they would be any amount of money. They would be, answering to their board, answering to the local clientele who would they would just have another place to spread the word about how great they are.
Operate it just across the line into the black and treat it like a loss leader.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a terrible idea. There we go. It's the Afternoon Drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Teresi, I see you there. We'll get to your call in just a minute. If you want to join in, it's 490-5858 or toll free 800-776-5858. That's Andrea Jones. I'm Philip Teresi, and you're listening to the Afternoon Drive.
Got some slow-moving traffic coming off the 180 to northbound 41, and then there's a little bit of a problem with slow traffic starting at southbound 41 at Ashland. And in Madera County, things are rolling along pretty well up the speed limit through Madera, which is always good news. West Olive Avenue at Brawley, there is an abandoned vehicle causing a hazard at that location. Our next update is at 3:33. Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. MVP's bonus days are back for pros at Lowe's. Now through January 20th, pros save and earn bonus points on top brands like DeWalt. Join Lowe's MVP's program today and shop bonus days only at Lowe's.
The story of the nurse and the foot pain that nearly brought him down.
I feel like I'm giving people their lives back.
Robert lived to take care of his patients, but he couldn't do it unless he took care of his foot pain.
I have plantar fasciitis. It'll almost put you on your knees. That's how much it hurts.
His own recovery started when he got fitted for arch supports at the Good Feet store.
Now that I'm pain free, I can make these people feel better.
Can't beat that. Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com. The children's music and dance teacher who couldn't cha-cha.
I was always on my feet. It was just so painful.
Elisa couldn't let her students down, so she stepped up and went to the Good Feet store for personally fitted arch supports.
I would work an entire day, and my feet didn't hurt at the end of the day. That was when I knew, wow, these are different.
But the really good part?
It's good to be dancing together again.
Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Step into your Good Feet store in Fresno, Merced, and Visalia. Good Feet, the official arch support of Fresno State Athletics.
The smell of cows always makes me hungry for sausage and eggs. Growing up, our family included 1,800 four-legged children, and we didn't eat till they did. You know how it is on a dairy. Days start at 4 a.m., every 4 a.m. When dairies fell on hard times, my dad and brother stayed managing the cows. I went off to manage farms for others. Found my real passion in helping the people more than the crops. Russ, my father-in-law, suggested we could give them better options when they were ready to get out of farming. He showed me how processing proceeds from farmland can be reinvested in other real estate, providing passive income that's many times greater than what the farm ever produced. I'm Dan Hoekstra with Hoekstra & Associates, and for the last decade and a half, that's just what we've done. You've probably seen our signs on acreage where we've helped farmers retire and reap an even bigger harvest. If you're considering getting out of the dirt to enjoy a steady income greater than your farm ever produced, go to Hoekstra.land. That's HOEKSTRA.land.
I am a very happy camper because I get to tell you about the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center. Yeah, exactly the same place I was talking to you about 15, 20 years ago. Do you know this local company is 42 years old? 42 years dabbling with trucks. I think they know what they're doing. And right now, I need to address you people that have companies and you people who are farmers with fleet vehicles. This is an area where the Noble Brothers have really carved out their expertise. Whether it's cabinets, truck racks, ladder racks, toolboxes, van interiors, van shelving, and a lot of it. Remember, I use the F word, fleet. If you have fleet needs, you need the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center. Two of them, one out in Sunnyside, the other one on Blackstone near Sierra. I got to know them when they turned a Jeep Wrangler of mine into a masterpiece, and I just got another Jeep. And they're doing it all over again. I can't wait for the finished product. Click nobletruck.com. Noble, Nobile. If it's a pickup, a van, a Jeep, oh, even a fifth wheel, you totally need the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center since 1980.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code DRIVER for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code DRIVER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code DRIVER for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
Former Navy SEAL Sean Ryan shares real stories from real people from all walks of life on The Sean Ryan Show. Wealth strategist Rob Luna.
If you could solve a problem in this world better than anyone else, you're going to make a lot of money. And that's really what a business's ultimate goal is, whether it's your business or a manufacturing business. It's about solving a problem, making a bigger impact in people's lives than anyone else on scale.
I mean, I've been trying to scale my business, but I can't find somebody to conduct these interviews.
Yeah.
The Sean Ryan Show on YouTube or wherever you listen.
It's your afternoon drive on KMJ. Philip Teresi, Andrea Jones. Phones open at 490-5858 and 800-776-5858. Talking about the situation out in Madera. Madera Community Hospital is closed. They stopped offering emergency services a little over a week ago, and last week they closed their doors permanently. Unfortunately, it appears as they held a job fair for some of their employees today, and this was both medical and non-medical folks that they had tried to help find new work. So we're talking to you now, 490-5858 and 800-776-5858. And we'll start with Tracy out on the road. Tracy, welcome back to KMJ.
Hey, Philip. Hey, Andrea.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm sorry I cut out there for a second. Hospitals do take in a lot of money, but they also pay out a lot of money. My son works for a medical device company, and one robotic, I don't know if Madera Community has it, but one robotic surgery machine costs $1.5 million, okay? So you have a situation where even if you take out all the packing of the prices and all that stuff, let's say we even got that part under control, because that's another discussion for another day, you have a lot of expenses that go out and running a hospital. And I agree with whomever is saying that the Medicare reimbursement rates are probably too low, but then the question comes down to who really wants to fund that? Do I as a taxpayer want to fund it? My wife and I are spending $18,000 a year between us, and, that's what it is to have private medical insurance. And if I didn't have it, I like Blue Cross because I would get hit with a $100,000 bill instead of Blue Cross telling my provider that, it should only cost $32,000 or whatever the number is because they're negotiating on my behalf. Medicare has been pretty tough. Government entities have been really hard on these for-profit hospitals. And I'd like to give you a suggestion. Find out what collectively these hospitals are making, and that's how much money you have to put back into the system for medical care if you said that they were not going to be for profit. You got nurses making $100,000 a year. I don't begrudge them that. You got RNs or PAs making $150,000 a year. Some surgeons are making more than that. I'm not here to talk about whether they make or don't make too much money. It's just that there's a lot of money flowing around with everybody, and there's quite a few people that get treated that they're not getting a fair reimbursement for this. Now, when Medicare goes up, do I want to see my taxes go up? Do I want to see my Blue Cross bill go up from $18,000 to $22,000? There has to be something there where I don't know how to fix the problem, but it's more than just hospitals making too much money.
Well, and Trace, I think that's I think that the dichotomy has a generator of turbulence that's not being acknowledged as what it is. The insurance companies.
Right.
We all know this. When you go get insurance for your car, and we're all required here in California to have at least liability insurance. But if you've got financing, you're required to have the full boat, right?
Right.
And if you've got a nice car, it's probably the smart thing to have full boat insurance. And if you have any assets to speak of, it probably makes sense to have higher limits and all of that.
Yeah.
When I drive over to R&R Automotive and it's time for an oil change or I need shocks, Geico doesn't pay for that. I pay for that out of my own pocket. I had an Infiniti Q45 or 35, whatever it was, had the catalytic converter fail. Because it's an Infiniti, it was automatically a boatload more expensive than literally any car I'd owned before it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think I ended up spending like $3,500.
Which is crazy.
And most of it was the part.
Right.
My insurance didn't cover that. So I had a choice. I could spend $3,500, fix the car, or I could ditch the car, sell it for scrap, and go buy a new car. But when I go to my physician for a checkup, the insurance company, in that case, is in the middle of it. And so my physician is billing the insurance company $300 for the office visit. And the insurance company has already pre-negotiated it back down to $175. And I'm going to pay $25. Well, if we didn't have the insurance company in the middle of it, could my doc get away with charging me $100 to weigh me, measure me, and tell me to go be less fat?
Well, yeah, and it would be, but for them it would be a more consistent pay.
Yeah.
It would be a more consistent outcome, right?
Yeah.
And they would have less staff. You see all these doctors now who they don't take insurance and it's more of a one-on-one interaction. I'll keep your credit card on file. Every time you come in, we'll just charge you whatever we charge you.
Half of my physician's office staff are involved with the moving of paperwork.
Honestly, I went for an appointment the other day and I met with 4 different people from the point where I checked out, like to make my payment, to schedule a procedure, to schedule a different procedure. I mean, it was 4 different people who had jobs. It took 3 minutes with each one of them, but that is a lot of overhead.
Yeah.
For any doctor's office. So at a hospital, it's like 3 times, got to be 3 times, 4 times that.
So I guess to come back to Tracy's point, Medicare, Medi-Cal is not doing as good of job as the insurance companies. But all of these entities have gotten into the middle of and have become these kind of parasitic interlopers in a transaction that doesn't require them. For a catastrophe, I have a heart attack and I need to go to the hospital for a month because my heart tried to burst out of my chest. Yeah, then it would make sense for insurance to kick in. Just like if I got sideswiped by somebody on my drive home. Geico doesn't pay for my oil changes. Why do I need Blue Cross or Blue Shield or whoever to be in the middle of having my teeth cleaned?
I don't know. I mean, I guess, too, the argument there would be that as a consumer, you know what you're getting yourself into, right? As opposed to, as on the flip side, being the doctor or the physician or the physician or the surgeon.
Yeah.
Not knowing what he or she is getting themselves into.
Sure.
Based on who's coming in and what they're coming in with. There just has to, it all doesn't make sense because we have increased layers where they don't need to be, and we've decreased layers where we probably need to have them.
And now the people of Madera
exactly
are suffering because of this system. We got one more holding on this, and then we will switch gears because I want to talk about the FAA before you take off. That's Andrea Jones, Philip Teresi right now. Time for news with Jim Miller.
KMJ News now.
It's 3:30 in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. A Clovis home severely damaged after a truck crashed into it and burst into flames. Clovis Fire says it happened about 8 this morning near 8th and Pulaski Avenues. Officials said the truck lost control, struck a gas main when it hit the house. Nobody home when the accident happened. The driver and passenger in the truck were taken to the hospital for burn injuries. One man involved this morning's hit-and-run accident in Fresno is dead. Earlier today, police say 2 men had been taken to the hospital. It followed the accident that happened a little before 3 a.m. at First and McKinley. One of those men succumbed to his injuries at the hospital. A 33-year-old man taken into custody after reportedly fleeing from the scene. He now faces felony hit-and-run and vehicular manslaughter charges. There's more good news concerning Buffalo Bills player Damar Hamlin. Fox's Kevin Uretsky has the details.
Hamlin has been released from a Buffalo hospital after 2 days of testing and will continue his rehab with the Bills and at home following the cardiac arrest he suffered on the field during a game against the Cincinnati Bengals on January the 2nd. Hamlin spent last week in the hospital in Cincinnati before being sent back to Buffalo. Bills coach Sean McDermott indicating that it will be up to Hamlin when to visit the team, saying his health comes first and that, quote, we'll welcome him back as he feels ready. Hamlin tweeting Tuesday asking people to, quote, keep me in y'all prayers, please. Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Christina Lopez.
Good Wednesday afternoon. Rain clouds return across the valley floor with a 40% chance of rain today, mainly between noon and 5 p.m. Cloudy skies with a high near 54 in the Fresno area with windy conditions. Expect gusts up to 15 miles per hour, a low of 54 degrees tonight. Expect rain showers to return in time for the weekend beginning on Friday, potentially bringing between a tenth to a quarter of an inch of rain. At the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Christina Lopez for KMJ News. Stay safe on those roads.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
Heading up to Oakhurst on southbound 41 at Cabin Lane, there is road closure there. This is due to PG&E replacing a pole, so they have one-way traffic on 41, and that's going to be like that for a couple of more hours, so be prepared if you're heading up that way. Also, if you're heading into the mountains, CHP reminds all drivers that you need to carry chains. Next update is at 3:47. Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. MVP's bonus days are back for pros at Lowe's. Now through January 20th, pros save and earn bonus points on top brands like DeWalt. Join Lowe's MVP's program today and shop bonus days only at Lowe's.
The ag industry is built on trust and relationships. Don York, KMJ Ag Director, sharing details about the Ag Center. The Ag Center was founded by farmers for farmers with the principle of no growers left behind. The Ag Center's mission is to connect with farmers of all sizes, bringing the best resources the industry offers. From field services to ag tech, even innovative products and consulting, the Ag Center has you covered. Call or visit the website at agcenter.com to connect and grow.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month. a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-929-2121. That's 1-800-929-2121. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-929-2121. That's 1-800-929-2121.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Every day, people from all over Central California are discovering unbeatable savings at Own a Car Fresno. Most dealers can't match Own a Car when it comes to great value. We work hard to get you a car you can afford, whether you're a first-time buyer or have less than perfect credit. Bottom line, Own a Car offers some of the easiest financing, low down and monthly payments, a lifetime powertrain warranty, and one of the state's largest selections of popular vehicles. So join thousands of happy customers who've made us one of California's top-rated dealers. 500 down sales events. No score, no more. Own-a-car.com.
This report is sponsored by In-N-Out Burger.
At In-N-Out, our hamburgers are made with the highest quality ingredients, made fresh and by hand, made with a smile, and made to order just for you.
Got a cybersecurity problem? For security breaches, network penetration testing, regulatory compliance, and incident response. Breadcrumb Cybersecurity. Breadcrumb, because evidence is everywhere.
Teresi tackles Fresno and California issues every day. Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
Roll to your 3 o'clock hour. Andrea Jones, Philip Teresi, News Talk 580 1059 KMJ Worldwide. You can hear us at kmjnow.com. We've been talking about the closure of Madera Community Hospital, and Andrea was actually able to get us a little insight from somebody in a position in medical administration to offer us a little bit broader, a little more informed view. But we got Johnny on the phone, and a phone call from Johnny is always an adventure. Welcome back to KMJ, sir.
Hi, Johnny.
Philip. Hello, Philip and Andrea. I mean, you are a dream in Italian. Philip and Andrea.
Got it. We'll go with it. All right.
You're a dream. All right. The thing is that, like, I don't know if you've ever heard of the California genocide, but that's when, the colonizers came and they, if you didn't give us money, if you weren't worth anything, we'd, exterminate you. Well, that's much of what's going on with the remote control related to the Madera Community Hospital. Now, if the doctors of Madera, my grandfather was a doctor, and he, actually, founded the had something to do with the founding of the hospital in Chowchilla. Okay. And so, this was when, country doctors went house to house and house and house. They weren't remote controlled. They were fully motivated by emotion. And that's what we have lost, as far as giving our responsibility up to each other, to a remote control entity known as Washington, D.C. and NYC, our integrity has been reduced as children, whereas a 4-year-old amplified to today me, I love you, I love you, I love you.
Johnny, I always love hearing from you, dude, and I think to pluck the kernel out of that, there is a parallel with what I was saying, that we've got too many bureaucrats and middlemen involved, and sometimes that means the insurance companies, and sometimes that means regulation, and that was one of the components that I think very clearly ran off Trinity Healthcare, this organization that runs St. Agnes Hospital. They're very successful. They do an incredible job. Both of my kids were born at St. Agnes, and we were comfortable with every step of the process. Trinity Healthcare coming into this market, and a Catholic organization, so pure profit isn't the motive. Community service is a component of their mission.
Right.
So operating Madera Community as a just across the line into black, not quite a loss leader, but a no profit situation wasn't out of the question. but it was regulation that scared them off. And that's, in Johnny's vernacular, this remote control from Sacramento and Washington. Now,
and from what I'm hearing from some of my sources today is that first, to address something we spoke about earlier, they were losing $2.5 to $5 million a month.
Wow.
So $7 million is not going to take you very far if you think about it, right? The other thing is that the reasons that Trinity stepped away were some of the things we just discussed, or poor reimbursement, poor payout, the fact that none of their buildings are up to code currently, and then the fact that the AG has new restrictions and was putting further and further restrictions on a new entity buying the facility. So all of that makes sense. It now is just a matter of somebody else having to step up. It makes sense as to why they would step away.
California is legendary for killing business and killing opportunity. This used to be
on principle.
This used to be where people went to do whatever it was they were going to do. Make a movie, be on the radio, pan for gold, or practice medicine.
Right.
And this was where people came to make it happen. You could get wealthy in California just by showing up and trying hard. And Sacramento continues day after day to stamp that out. And in the case of Madera Community Hospital, I think you can lay a lot of this at the feet of Sacramento, especially Trinity running off.
Right.
I think that you can lay some of this at the feet of DC and the reimbursements from that healthcare system.
Right.
And then you talk about the seismic retrofit. Once again, look, do I think the building should be earthquake proofed?
100%.
Sure, of course. It would be silly to
think
pretend
about where
not.
we are.
But we're talking about Madera County.
Yeah, let's try and put that into perspective, which intelligence is not the strong suit of government for sure. It's just not.
Never in a million years.
Especially not California government.
So we've got this impossible situation, and Madera County is going to try and find a way to at least put a Band-Aid on it.
Mm-hmm.
What are the odds, in your mind, Andrea, that we will see what used to be a full-service hospital become kind of a hybridized emergency room and urgent care that's really there as a stopgap for people who are then going to be, after stabilization, transported to Madera and Fresno?
Left, right, exactly, north or south, right or left. I think that this is a perfect opportunity for an individual company to come in, somebody who has some expertise, and they could make it into a hybrid and still make a little bit of money.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be somebody who was planning to make millions and millions of dollars every year, but there are a lot of people around town, around the region, who have money, who could probably step in and give it legs for a couple of months, and then they'd have a better chance. And if you think about it, it's only going to serve every single other citizen between here and Stockton.
Yeah.
Maybe Tulare, not all the way to Tulare, but anyway. Maybe Goshen and this side of Merced County. I don't know. It would serve them well.
Well,
to have to maintain a facility open there so that we weren't absorbing their patients.
Yeah, you've got this network of emergency, urgent, ICU, and run-of-the-mill healthcare things. And as soon as you pull out, and look, Madera Community was not a massive hospital. It's not CRMC.
Right.
It's not Zuckerberg General. It's a country hospital.
Right.
But it was a country hospital serving a town that benefited mightily from it, and pulling that benefit away. And I know people keep talking about Merced, and yeah, for very northern Madera County, I do think that you will see some of these emergencies get moved in that direction. Mm-hmm. The vast majority of people who get hurt in Madera City are going to have to come to Fresno. And ironically, they're going to end up at a Trinity healthcare facility because St. Agnes is going to be the first stop on the way into town.
Right. And St. Agnes is always packed.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, they all are
and
right now.
It slows it down for every single citizen here, for every person in the region.
490-5858. Dennis, welcome to KMJ.
Hi, this is Dennis.
Yes, sir. Welcome to the show. What's up?
Yeah, another aspect will be the 5150s that all have to go to an emergency room. So in Madera, most 5150s are transported by police. So now they'll have to be transported into Fresno. And then if a person is homeless, they'll be released where? They have anywhere from 3 to 6 or 7 5150s every day in Madera.
I didn't realize there was that much activity of that sort in Madera, but even if you are releasing them and then providing them transport back, you've still got to use resources from another community to get them back and forth. You're going to have fewer officers available for the respective communities because they got to take an hour drive.
Resources
Right. And most times, people that are released 5150, usually in Madera, it's for methamphetamine intoxication. They clear within a day, and then they're released into, quote, the community. And so transportation, I don't know about that.
Dennis,
well, it just takes the resources. It takes the human resources. It takes police off the street to move them. It takes ambulances off the street. It does all of that. So you're just...
It's one less person
hamstring.
serving Fresno. It's like I said, it's an impossible situation. I know the Board of Supervisors in Madera is trying to figure something out with that COVID money, but again, that's one-time money. And based on what we're hearing about the operating losses at that hospital, that may or may not be enough money to get a month worth of activity. That's why I keep coming back to that idea of the hybrid emergency and urgent care.
Well, and a public-private partnership of some sort. And not that anybody wants to get in business with the state government, but if you could get into business with somebody like Trinity, who's not necessarily a for-profit institution, but you could balance it out somehow.
At this point, if I lived in Madera, I'd be willing to entertain any option that'll get us through 2023.
1,000%. 1,000%.
It's the Afternoon Drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. When we get back, switching gears, we're going to spend a couple of minutes on the FAA grounding order. All the planes in the country were ordered out of the air earlier today because of a system failure. If you don't know what the notice to airmen system is, we will talk about it on the Afternoon Drive on KMJ.
All right, in Fresno right now, we have on East American Avenue and Southeast Avenue a car fire reported there. Oakhurst, the California Highway Patrol is reporting that one-way traffic control is being implemented on Highway 41 near Cabin Road. The closure affects the northbound lanes, and PG&E is doing some power pole replacement. So look for one-lane traffic and a backup. Oakhurst, in Kingsburg rather, on Road 36 at State Route 201. Got a non-injury accident there, and our next update happens at 4:03. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. MVP's bonus days are back for pros at Lowe's. Now through January 20th, pros save and earn bonus points on top brands like DeWalt. Join Lowe's MVP's program today and shop bonus days only at Lowe's.
This is too cool. I am so impressed. Not only is Lou Rodman's Patio Barstool and Amish Emporium brand new in a brand new location, the store is filled to the max with a lot of new product. For example, if you happen to be a doctor, an attorney, and you've been wanting that desk, an Amish handcrafted desk, you pick the stain, you pick the wood, you pick it all, that says a big statement about you, he's got them. Wait until you see these desks. And since the advent of the internet, people don't buy a lot of bookcases anymore. They don't use books. But have you tried to find a bookcase lately? Same deal. The Amish have come out with these beautiful bookcases. He's got them right there in the main entrance. You got to see this stuff. Brand new bedroom sets, brand new outdoor furniture, and finally, a giant selection of outdoor bar stools. Lou Rodman's outstanding Patio Barstool and Amish Emporium. The best news, year-end clearance sale is now. Across the street from Lowe's, right next to Fashion Furniture. You've got to see this place.
For someone living with the trauma of domestic violence, home is a dangerous place, a place without hope. Marjorie Mason Center provides hope and a new beginning for individuals and families fleeing domestic violence in Fresno County. 24/7 crisis support, emergency and long-term housing, case management, counseling, legal advocacy, children's enrichment, and education are available. There is hope and there is help. Call the 24/7 hotline today, 559-233-4357, or email help@mmcenter.org. That's 559-233-4357, or help@mmcenter.org.
family farms are up against so much. So everywhere they turn, they're getting hit.
So there are changes coming from the utility that ties in with net energy metering. The sense of urgency is certainly driven by that change coming from NEM 2 to NEM 3.
What's going to happen is when NEM 3 comes, is they're going to limit your credits back when you're producing power.
You know, they're moving the goalposts. The utilities are changing the rules of the game.
Solar is the best savings now.
If you haven't gone solar for your farming operation or commercial business, the time really is now.
Rates are going up more and more. We've already seen almost a 40% rate increase in the last 10 years.
Being locally owned and in the market for as long as we have, that creates a sense of trust and long-term support.
Here at Pickett Solar, 90+% of our business is ag. We have great relationships we've developed, and we've earned the trust of many families throughout the valley that feel confident in referring us to their friends and other family members.
With Pickett Solar, we provide a way for our clients to save money and gain energy independence.
Let's ring in the new year. This is Christina Musan. Say goodbye to 2022 and hello to 2023 with some organization in your life. And who better to help than Closets by Design? Over the past 7 years, they've helped organize 5 of my closets, a garage, a mudroom, and even my wine storage. And I keep going back time and again because they make organization easy. From the initial design appointment to installation, customer service, your satisfaction is their priority. Check it out for yourself on my Facebook page and see the quality. And they're affordable. Right now, Closets by Design is offering 40% off, plus an additional 15% off and 18 months interest-free financing. Call Closets by Design, 453-7034. That's 453-7034. Check them out online at closetsbydesign.com. Closets by Design. Imagine your home beautifully organized.
California Department of Public Health reminding you of ways to help stop the spread of COVID and other viruses this winter. Boost your immunity by staying up to date with COVID boosters and flu shots. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. And protect others by staying home and testing for COVID when sick. And consider masking up in indoor public places. Do something good for yourself this winter. Get protected, and if you have to, get tested. More tips at covid19.ca.gov.
Start your morning with news and the truth. Fresno's Morning News, 6 to 9 a.m. on KMJ and streaming at KMJNow.com.
Rolling up on 4 o'clock on your afternoon drive. It's News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Andrea Jones, Philip Teresi. Appreciate you coming in and hanging out today.
I'm happy to be here. This is fantastic. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope that you've enjoyed our time together.
So we've got the FAA story coming up. I kind of want to dip into the George Santos thing.
He is just a piece of work.
This guy, this is the New York State congressman, freshman congressman. He lied about not just where he went to college, but that he went to college. He lied about working for 2 of the big Wall Street firms. He lied about being Jewish. He might have lied about being gay.
They also apparently have found a bunch of money that he didn't actually have that he donated to his campaign.
The campaign finance stuff that's starting to emerge is particularly, that's going to be a real challenge for him.
That's jail right there.
And the Republicans at this point, there's a lot of finger wagging going on. Mm-hmm. I'm not seeing any decisive action. Do you have any idea? Because you've got a wealth of experience in high altitude politics here.
This is one of those things where we have a chance to stand our ground and say, ethically, these types of moves are a problem. And we're not ready to do that because at the beginning of this Congress, or even before the Congress started, we were focused on getting Kevin McCarthy elected.
Yeah.
Now, be that as it may be, the day he got elected, really, they should have come up with some plan to figure out how to get Santos out of there. I get playing politics, and I get why our margin's so slim and we have to do certain things, but we have no leg to stand on if we allow somebody like this, because everything about him is wrong. Everything about him has been lied about, like by him, all by himself.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is it? And now at this point, he's other than the campaign finance stuff, he's copped to the fact that he lied his face off at every turn.
And I won't run again.
The campaign finance issues may cross over into criminal. I mean, right now it's all rumors and allegations. Mm-hmm. If it crosses over into criminal and we see him get indicted, is that the moment at which you'll finally see leadership say, okay, enough is enough? Or are they going to let it go all the way to the hilt?
I think that knowing Kevin McCarthy and knowing this group of Republicans, I think that this is something they let slide until the next election. And there is an argument to be made that it would cost more money, more time, more energy to just get him out right now, or to try and fight the fight with him.
Yeah.
Versus just letting him ride through this Congress and then getting him out. However, in the interim, he should not have a committee assignment.
Yeah.
Everybody should denounce him. He should be like the black sheep and expected to still vote as a Republican.
Can he be successfully managed and marginalized in that way, with McCarthy holding the gavel?
If he is scared enough about what his future holds, you better damn well believe he will be held to account.
Andrea, I appreciate
if he's that
you.
afraid.
I appreciate you coming in and hanging out today.
Thanks for having me.
That's Andrea Jones. I'm Philip Teresi. Hour 3 of the program is on the way. If you've got thoughts on Congressman Santos, phones are open at 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. We got an update of headlines with Jim Miller on the way and another look at your drive with Greg Lane. It's the Afternoon Drive on KMJ. Stick around.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in TuneIn Radio or Google Podcasts.
Attention! This is a special alert for all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an overpriced auto warranty or no warranty coverage at all. Due to the increase of new and used car prices, repair costs, and the price of gas, people are keeping their cars longer than ever, which is why CarShield is announcing a low-cost, month-to-month vehicle protection plan to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on covered auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can save thousands for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. You could save thousands on future auto repairs. Our specialists are standing by for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-423-4161. Vehicle Protection Plan pricing is at an all-time low. Plus, drivers who purchase this coverage today will receive rental car options, free roadside assistance, and free towing. Call 800-423-4161 now for your free quick quote. That's 800-423-4161. What do you have to lose? Call 800-423-4161. Again, 800-423-4161.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code DRIVER for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code DRIVER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code DRIVER for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
Ad paid for by Anthem Tax Services. Attention! If you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes by up to 99%. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-793-1525 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-793-1525. That's 800-793-1525. Again, 800-793-1525.
Concrete blocks are being used to cover electrical access panels to prevent copper thieves from robbing you blind. Check them out online at bestconcreteblocks.com.
The original KMJ, 580 AM, 1059 FM, Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
It's 4 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. A 33-year-old man arrested for a deadly hit and run this morning in southeast Fresno. The suspect identified as 33-year-old Shane Lee Shahan. Just after 2 this morning, they say Shahan, driving a truck when he ran a red light at McKinley and First, struck a car with 2 men inside. Both were taken to CRMC, but the passenger died from his injuries. Police say Shahan ran off, but thanks to a witness description, officers able to locate and take him into custody. Along Highway 41 at Weldon Avenue, Shahan was arrested for felony hit and run and felony vehicular manslaughter charges. Residents in Merced County still being pulled to safety today. Officials working on a plan to help. Here's KMJ's Liz Kern with more.
Merced's Bear Creek reaching a depth of 26 feet, 3 feet above flood stage. Some of those hard-hit in Planada were using boats and kayaks to get out of rising waters coming from Miles Creek. Merced County Sheriff Vern Warnke ordered the entire town of 4,000 to evacuate.
We've got 100+ cars in Planada that are ruined through either natural causes by them sitting in the yard where the water came up, or numbskulls running barricades and thinking they should be able to go through there.
Officials are working to fortify Miles Creek. The National Weather Service in Hanford says Merced has seen 4.5 inches of rain for the month of January. Merced could see a 1/4 inch of rain from late Friday into early Saturday as the atmospheric river returns. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Bear Creek in Merced continues to recede. The water level dropped to just over 20 feet as of this morning, according to the National Weather Service. It's expected to continue to lower throughout today as the area gets a little bit of reprieve from the recent severe weather. Heavy rains caused the creek's water level to reach 26 feet, 3 feet above flood stage. Another big storm system expected to move into the area by Friday. Well, the president has asked the Transportation Department to look into the FAA system outage that grounded planes Wednesday morning. Fox's Peter Ducey is at the White House and has more details.
Officials here are saying they know what happened. They just don't know why it happened. Although at the highest levels of the government, even above the transportation secretary, to the president, they are saying they don't have any evidence right now that this was a cyber attack. Buttigieg is the face of this, and people who have been held up today know it. Republicans on Capitol Hill tend to agree, accusing Buttigieg of ignoring an antiquated FAA computer system until it was too late to avoid a major disruption.
Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Christina Lopez.
Good Wednesday afternoon. Rain clouds return across the valley floor with a 40% chance of rain today, mainly between noon and 5 p.m. Cloudy skies with a high near 54 in the Fresno area with windy conditions. Expect gusts up to 15 miles per hour, a low of 54 degrees tonight. Expect rain showers to return in time for the weekend beginning on Friday, potentially bringing between 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of rain. At the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Christina Lopez for KMJ News. Stay safe on those roads.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
In Fresno on East American between East and Cherry, they have car fire there. The fire is now out, and they're waiting to get a tow truck in there to move the car out, so be prepared for a little bit of a delay. Is Strathmore on Richardson's Road at Avenue 195, slow-moving traffic due to a hazard there. Then in Oakhurst, Highway 41 at Cabin Road, road closure, one-way traffic because PG&E is replacing a power pole, and they expect another hour or so before that will be done. In the meantime, look for slow-moving traffic in both directions and some backup as well. Next update is 4:17. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Teresi tackles Fresno and California issues every day.
Philip Teresi
on News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
4:05 on your afternoon drive. It's News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ. Thanks again to Andrea Jones for coming in and hanging out for the first couple hours of today's program. If you missed that, you can grab the podcast at KMJNow.com. Check her out. Let us know what you think. Find the show on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch.tv at Drive KMJ. We're all over social media. Same handle, at Drive KMJ. And the phones are open at 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. So this morning, there was a massive outage throughout the Federal Aviation Administration that led to air travel, a ground stop, being issued nationwide. This is, I believe, other than 9/11, I believe this is the only nationwide ground stop we have had since the establishment of the FAA. This morning, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre tweeted that, quote, "The president has been briefed by the Secretary of Transportation on the FAA system outage. There is no evidence of a cyber attack at this point, but the president directed the Department of Transportation to conduct a full investigation into the cause. The FAA will provide regular updates." So we now know what the system was that had created this problem, and it is a system inside of the FAA, a notification platform that you will sometimes heard called Notice to Airmen. Since we live in the wokey woke 21st century, that has been revised to Notice to Air Missions. NOTAM, N-O-T-A-M, is the way I think anybody who's got a pilot's license would know it. But there was an overnight outage of the NOTAM system that provides safety information to flight crews. Now, the ground stop has obviously since been lifted, and everybody's scrambling to try and get to something resembling back on track at this point. And the FAA is continuing to look into the cause of the problem. Couple of thoughts here. One, the Notice to Airmen system is pretty important. It is, if you don't fly, this is how you check for road hazards, so to speak. You would, before you file a flight plan, before you take off, you would check this system for any notices of known issues. And those issues can range from severe weather patterns to physical obstructions to special airspace rules. Think of it like this. When Air Force One flies into Fresno, California, you have a very different set of rules for commercial and private aircraft moving in and around Fresno Yosemite International Airport. And so that information would be relayed by the NOTAM system. Another thing, and this will sound very, very small, and yet it's kind of important. Obstruction beacons. And this is something that anybody in radio has experience with. As you know, radio towers are very tall sticks made of metal that send radio waves out into the countryside so that your receiver can hear what we're doing back here in the studio. Because they're giant metal sticks pointing up sometimes many hundreds of feet into the sky, they are equipped with beacons, blinky red lights. And if you have a beacon burn out because a light bulb's a light bulb's a light bulb, we get a notice back here in the studio. There's actually a piece of equipment that we look at that tells us the status of our transmitters. And this is something, again, that anybody who's worked the board operating side, the engineering side of broadcasting, they're rolling their eyes because this is radio 101. If you don't have this down, they're never going to let you get on the air. And it tells you what the status of those beacons are. Because if a beacon is out, you've got to call engineering to let them know, hey, we got a beacon out, so they can figure out, okay, is this a real outage? Is this a burnt bulb? Do we need to get a tower crew? Is it a loose wire? The normal diagnosis to make sure the beacon is functioning. The other thing that you have to do, and this is every disc jockey, every greasy overnight rock jock, every talk show host, every morning show host, every nationally syndicated so-and-so at some point has picked up the phone, called the Federal Aviation Administration, specifically into the NOTAM system, to say tower number, and there's usually like, it's a 7 or 8 digit code just depending upon where you're located. Tower number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is currently experiencing an apparent beacon outage. We need to establish a notice to airmen. And the FAA takes your tower code so they know physically where it is, and they put that NOTAM into the system so that pilots flying out of Fresno Yosemite International and Chandler Airfield and Reedley Municipal and Sierra Sky Park can all see, oh, hey, there's a giant metal thing that points up in the sky that doesn't have any lights on it. Give that a wide berth when you're making your plans today. So you can see how it can be important, and even in a very small region, why these things matter. Can you imagine some poor guy takes out a Reedley Municipal to go do a crop dusting run or to do a survey run for a farmer, and they don't know that there's a beacon out on a transmitter tower? Somebody could get killed. The frustration that has been coming from professional pilots, especially commercial pilots, is that the notice to airmen system is not the only way that they get notified about hazards and obstructions and issues in their airspace. Especially when you get to commercial, you're constantly talking to air traffic control. Air traffic control is going to have all of that regional information redundantly. And so there was some consternation that perhaps the nationwide ground order was a little over the top given the nature of the system. Now, the fact that the White House says this wasn't a hack, that this wasn't a cybersecurity failure, I hope they're right. I hope that was not a knee-jerk exclamation in advance of actual knowledge. What I'm concerned about is that my experience with this system is that it is old. If you are a pilot and you've been to a NOTAM website to go and check your notifications, you might notice a distinctive mid-90s GeoCities air to the construction of the websites. They don't need to be pretty. They're there for informational purposes. But if you've got a situation where a system like that is as outdated as, the California DMV, you could have system instability that simply comes down to it's too old and isn't going to work much longer. And I'm curious to learn if Transportation Secretary Buttigieg has any plans to answer questions about the condition of that infrastructure. Are we updating it? Are we improving it? Are we securing it? We've already had way too many problems in the past couple of months with sometimes individual airlines and sometimes entire regions going down because of communications issues. If the notice to airmen system is as outdated as I fear it might be, again, I'm talking about in terms of that back end infrastructure, how it's built, the computers that it is running on, you could have a real problem, not because the Chinese are hacking into it, but because it's just finally gotten the last layer of dust before things start collapsing. And the fact that it is now as late in the day as it is, we are fully 12 hours past this thing, and there isn't the beginning of a coherent explanation. That looks dreadful for the Transportation Secretary. Because again, this is a nationwide necessity. And I know the commercial pilots can make the argument, we don't need it the same way somebody flying a crop duster out of Chandler or Reedley would need it. I understand that. And yet, if I'm getting on your plane, I want to know you checked it. I want to know your co-pilot checked it. I want to know somebody's been looking at that. And if you're a private pilot, it's absolutely essential, isn't it? 490-5858 is the number here, 800-776-5858. Let's talk to Steve. He's a pilot. Steve, are you commercial or private?
I am private.
Tell me what you think about this. A nationwide ground order because the NOTAM system is down. Is this just a dinosaur finally giving up at the last gasp?
You know, I think more than anything, this is just a testament to how antiquated, and your analogy with the DMV was spot on. I mean, the FAA is better than, or you know, the air systems are better than the DMV, you know, sure. Head over shoulders, but it's still an antiquated system. I mean, I'm a private pilot. I mean, I do fly around and this and that. I mean, I do look at NOTAMs. I do, which you have to. I mean, very rarely do they affect my life. And if there is a NOTAM, then, you know, obviously you take note and you know, abide by it.
Yeah.
But just the overall state of the FAA and the transportation department. I mean, you've got, you know, Pete Buttigieg that runs the thing and oversees it. He has no idea about any of this stuff. So for him to come out and say he's doing his due diligence, he's just learning what a NOTAM is. So I don't know. I don't know what good he's going to do. I mean, you need somebody that's actually, you know, been in the field, worked it, done it for years, and say, hey, this is how we can improve it. This is how it can be done. I mean, and I, you know, again, I mean, if a lot of the commercial airlines, you know, they're avionics and stuff. It's not like the newest stuff. So
well, and I understand that, and I'm not going to be the guy who says we need to dump our entire aviation system to make sure everybody's got bleeding edge. But let me ask you this. Is the NOTAM system, technology aside, simply the service that it performs, as a pilot, do you consider that information to be essential safety information? And is that system worth updating so that it is stable, it is accessible, and it is updated regularly so that guys like you or commercial pilots can pop on and make sure they don't bump into a transmitter tower that doesn't have a beacon on it?
Well, and it's important. It's important. You know, a lot of the NOTAMs that you will get as a pilot will be about taxiways that are closed, or maybe there is a runway that's closed, right? I mean, it's not. I mean, yes, you will get. I mean, a lot of times you'll read a NOTAM that says, "Yeah, beacon XYZ has a light out." Okay, I mean, if you're not flying at night, and if you're not flying IFR, and if you are flying IFR, you're shooting an approach. So it's a whole different deal. NOTAMs typically wouldn't apply to you in that regard, other than when you're on the ground, unless they change the approach plate or whatever. Sure. But yeah, I mean it's definitely a viable deal. You know, when you talk about, you know, I've never seen a NOTAM in the air. They're more like PIREPs, you know, pilot reports, like, hey, there's turbulence at XYZ feet or whatever, right? But, yeah, I mean, it's for them to shut, you know, this many flights down or departures down because the NOTAM system was down. I mean, that to me is kind of like, you know, are we in the 80s or something, right? I mean, you wouldn't think. I've never heard of that before. So.
Steve, I really appreciate the insight, man. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't think to take off on a long road trip without checking road conditions and SIG alert and all of that, just if nothing else to save myself the headache. But the picture that I'm getting from you is the NOTAM system is worth saving. It is worth preserving and updating. But the nationwide ground stop was probably a little bit of overkill, at least as far as commercial pilots were concerned, commercial flights were concerned. I appreciate you checking in, man. I got to keep moving. We got an update of traffic coming with Greg Lane in just a minute. It is the afternoon drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
In Easton on East American Avenue, it's Southeast Avenue. Car fire there. The car fire is out. Right now, they are waiting for a tow truck to get the car out of the way. Eastbound 180 at the Highway 41 connector there is an injury accident just now being reported. Next update is at 4:33. This is Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code DRIVER for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code DRIVER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code DRIVER for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
Folks, there have been some fumbles on the way to the big game, but he's not getting some help to get it done tonight. Here's the throw. He might go all the way. Touchdown!
Regain and optimize your sexual performance. See what Pacific Men's Clinic can do to help that bedroom touchdown. Pacific Men's Clinic, safe and pain-free, clinically proven procedure breaks up plaque and stimulates the growth of healthy new blood vessels. Call for your free consultation now at 559-550-6771. That's 559-550-6771.
I know exactly how you feel. You're sitting there at the gas pump wondering, am I ever going to have a regular meal again? Because you're cutting out all the good food because you can't afford the gas, right? Wait until you see your next PG&E bill. No more meals out and no more hair because you're going to be pulling that out as well, too. Do what I did. Planet Solar. When you have a solar system put in by Planet Solar, you literally lock in your energy price forever. Don't you wish it could be that way at the gas pump? Sorry, but you can't do that there. But you can do it for your home with Planet Solar, and it all began for them right here in Central California. One of the things I really liked about these guys is their financing. Don't let the rate hike scare you away from going with Planet Solar. And they are really quick and good and efficient on installation, and they have become masters at putting together a complete solar package with a solar battery. So you've got the juice when PG&E says, no, you don't need it because we're trying to conserve to save the world. Click planetsolar.com. Do that. Call them at 228-9245.
Do you own an agricultural business and want to grow and make more money? Then it's time to become an affiliate or a preferred vendor of the Ag Center today. Don York, KMJ Ag Director. You can join agriculture's one and only lead generation and networking platform. Be among other exclusive agricultural businesses offering products, services, consulting, and ag tech to farmers of all sizes. Contact the Ag Center today at theagcenter.com.
Ever wished your trees could speak? Well, they do. And with FineTech, you can start listening. In fact, as crop prices drop and water costs rise, there's never been a more crucial time to listen to your trees. FineTech connects growers to their trees, enabling enhanced visibility of their operation and helping them maximize yields while saving water. Contact us at finetech.com and we'll connect you to growers that are listening to their trees. That's FineTech, PhyTech.com.
Is it new or pre-owned? It's hard to tell when you drive a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz from Mercedes-Benz of Fresno. The closest to new you can get. That comes with another surprise, an affordable price. Every certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz gets a 125-point inspection by certified Mercedes-Benz technicians and an unlimited mileage warranty. That's safety and more safety. See how affordable like new can be at Mercedes-Benz of Fresno, Palm and Herndon. See store for details.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Rolling through your 4 o'clock hour at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, and I just wanted to dip back into it really quickly. One, to encourage folks who might know anything to speak up, but also to remind you there's an opportunity to help out some folks right here in Fresno that right now could definitely use a little kindness. The Friday morning fire in southeast Fresno, the Sunnyside Deli fire, I think is probably the shorthand that most of us are comfortable with now. Fire investigators believe that fire was likely arson. They say that they saw a couple of suspects on surveillance video going into the Blends Barber Lounge early Friday morning prior to that fire beginning. Again, the fire started in the middle unit. It spread to the rest of the structure through the attic, and it has put a bunch of businesses out of business. So Fresno Fire's open an arson investigation. A reward is going to be available through Valley Crime Stoppers. If you know something, call Crime Stoppers, 498-STOP. Or call the Fresno Arson Tip Line, 621-2776. 621-2776. We'll share the link again so you can find that number should you choose to avail yourself of it. These guys are going to get caught. They were on surveillance video. The clock is ticking. If there is somebody out there who knows anything about who this was, take the money. Make it easy. Turn them in. In the meantime, we know that Sunnyside Pharmacy is continuing to do business through their Selma location, the Fox Drug Store. And if you were a Sunnyside Pharmacy customer, your data, your prescriptions are not lost. It was backed up in their system. So if you need to get a prescription filled and you're a Sunnyside Pharmacy customer, give them a call at the Fox Drug Store there in Selma, and they will take care of you. My understanding is that while there's no firm answers yet, Sunnyside Deli had run a GoFundMe to be able to help pay some of their employees while they're out of work. The deli was damaged and significantly damaged, but the building is still mostly intact. There's no timeline yet for when they're going to get back to business, though. In the meantime, Blends Barber Lounge, Irish O'Sullivan's, and Terry Clark Dance, they're gone. The building is gone. And so they have set up their own GoFundMes. Each of them has their own one. And again, this is about coming up with cash to be able to pay employees who are now out of work through no fault of their own. And if you want to contribute to that, you can head over to KMJnow.com. When you head into that story about the strip mall fire being possibly arson, you'll find the links to all of those GoFundMes in the article. And folks are turning out, and that's a beautiful thing. It's going to take the community stepping up to help these businesses pay their employees while they're out of business. So head over to KMJnow.com, find that link. If you can afford to give a couple of bucks, please do so. And if you think you know something about the two folks caught on camera headed into the Blends Barber Lounge early last Friday morning, again, Crime Stoppers is 498-STOP. The Fresno Arson Tip Line is 621-2776. And all that information, once more, at KMJnow.com. So headed back up to, Sacramento by way of Washington, D.C. Katie Porter says she's throwing her hat in the ring for the United States Senate seat currently held by Dianne Feinstein. Katie Porter's a Democrat. She was first elected to Congress back in 2018, squeaked through on a tight race in November, and in her announcement video, she says she has challenged the status quo in Washington, taking on big banks, Wall Street, and the pharmaceutical industry. She would like to ban members of Congress from stock trading. Okay, that last bit, I could listen to that. Here's the thing. Feinstein has still not made a commitment one way or the other. The expectation is that the 89-year-old senator is finally ready to retire, but no commitment has been made one way or the other. Feinstein, which in my mind means Feinstein's office, released a statement yesterday saying, quote, "Everyone is, of course, welcome to throw their hat in the ring, and I will make an announcement concerning my plans for 2024 at the appropriate time." Feinstein, or Feinstein's office, as you will, added that she is currently focused on ensuring California has all the resources it needs to deal with the storms hitting the state. I don't think we need another Democrat. I think that the state of California continues to send Democrats to the Senate because that's what the state of California does. And I think that right now there's a real opportunity for a credible conservative to step up and maybe interrupt the cycle of dysfunction. Are there any names that come to mind for you? I know he'd wag his finger at me for saying it, but Tom McClintock pops to top of mind for me right away. I think he would be a fantastic option. Is there anybody else you'd like to see throw their hat in the ring against Katie Porter in the 2024 contest for Dianne Feinstein's seat?
KMJ News now.
It's 4:30 in Fresno. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. A 33-year-old man arrested for a deadly hit and run this morning in southeast Fresno. The suspect identified as 33-year-old Shane Lee Shahan. Just after 2:30 this morning, police say Shahan driving a truck when he ran a red light at McKinley and First, then struck a car with two men inside. Both were taken to CRMC, but the passenger died from his injuries. Police say Shahan ran off, but thanks to witness description, officers able to locate and take him into custody. Along Highway 41 at Weldon Avenue, Shahan was arrested for a felony hit and run and felony vehicular manslaughter charges. The odds are good that your teen has viewed porn online. Fox's CJ Papa has more.
75% of teenagers watching X-rated content by the age of 17, with the average age of first exposure being 12. That from Common Sense Media, a nonprofit child advocacy group. And it's really easy since kids have access to photos and videos on their smartphones, school devices, social media, porn sites, and streaming sites, the report claims. 41% say they saw nudity or sexual acts online during the school day, but plenty of exposure was by accident. 58% claim they were not searching for the content but stumbled onto it while surfing the web, social media, or through search engines or clicking ads. CJ Papa, Fox News.
Residents in Visalia can get help with current or past due rent by applying for mortgage assistance. The COVID rental or mortgage assistance program is now open, and qualified households can receive up to $2,000. Applicants must be at or below 80% of the average income for the area to qualify and should have experienced financial hardship due to COVID-19. Now the forecast from Fox 26's Christina Lopez.
Happy Wednesday afternoon to you. Right here in the Fresno area, cloudy skies with a high near 54 with windy conditions and rain beginning between noon and 5 p.m. Expect gusts up to 15 miles per hour, a low of 54 degrees tonight. Rain showers will return in time for the weekend beginning on Friday, potentially bringing between a tenth to a quarter of an inch of rain. At the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Christina Lopez for KMJ News. Make it a great afternoon.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
Thank you, Jim. On northbound 99 at the Shaw Avenue off-ramp, got a report of a fire at that location. Also, eastbound 180 at Highway 41, there is an injury accident. Then we go to Chowchilla on the 152 at Road 17, got a hit and run. Non-injury accident. Next update is at 4:47. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Samba through big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino. Meet the Kerr Companies. We are Kerr Wealth Management, Kerr Tax Advisors, Kerr Payroll, and Kerr Insurance. Collectively, we do it all under one umbrella. If you're a business owner or professional looking for straightforward business advice, investment solutions, payroll, or tax solutions, the Kerr Companies would love to meet with you to show you simple, straightforward solutions for complex problems. Call the Kerr Companies today at 559-277-4772 or online at thekerrcompanies.com. KerrCompanies.com.
For someone living with the trauma of domestic violence, home is a dangerous place, a place without hope. Marjorie Mason Center provides hope and a new beginning for individuals and families fleeing domestic violence in Fresno County. 24/7 crisis support, emergency and long-term housing, case management, counseling, legal advocacy, children's enrichment, and education are available. There is hope and there is help. Call the 24/7 hotline today, 559-233-4357, or email help@mmcenter.org. That's 559-233-4357, or help@mmcenter.org.
If you or a loved one is between 50 and 87 years old and has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, or a physician suspects it may be Alzheimer's disease, you or they may be eligible to participate in a clinical research study. The purpose of this trial is to determine if a new investigational twice-a-day oral drug candidate called Semufilm is effective in slowing down the progression of mild to moderate Alzheimer's disease. Call 559-437-9700 or go to neuropain.com and click on the sign-up button at the top of the page to see if you qualify.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Has the stock market slumps and instability this year got you concerned? Would you like a way that could protect your retirement when the markets are down? Gold Alliance would like to give you 2 free reports, the Inflation Survival Plan and the Stock Market Correction Plan. Both reveal how to protect your savings in uncertain times. It's absolutely free. Don't wait. Call 800-200-2079. 800-200-2079. 800-200-2079.
This week on RVER, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
That new doctor is drop dead gorgeous. Please, he's just another Ivy League educated surgeon with good hair. No, he's different.
Nurses, we got a Class C motorhome with a detached driver's side mirror. Meet me in the OR. Stat.
Right away, doctor. No, she's on break. I'll handle this one. Oh, you conniving little...
When your RV really needs saving, Progressive has you covered. See if you could save with a leader in RV insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. MVP's bonus days are back for pros at Lowe's. Now through January 20th, pros save and earn bonus points on top brands like DeWalt. Join Lowe's MVP's program today and shop bonus days only at Lowe's.
Teresi, streaming live on Alexa, Google Home, and everything else. Philip Teresi on KMJ.
It's your afternoon drive at News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Worldwide, you can listen at KMJNow.com. And if you miss any part of the show, find our podcast in the podcast section at KMJNow.com or search for KMJ's Afternoon Drive wherever you like to listen. So earlier this week, we got into the story of President Grandpa's team discovering 10 documents bearing classified markings that had been stored in a locked closet in the offices of the Penn Biden Foundation. This is a think tank where Joe Biden went to whatever it is Joe Biden does in between his time as the occupant of the office of the vice president and his current post as the occupant of the Oval Office. The documents were actually discovered back in November, really just a few days prior to the election. As to why the admission of the discovery took until mid-January, one could only speculate. But an exhaustive search for additional documents is now underway. And aides to President Biden have discovered at least one additional batch of classified documents in a location separate from the Penn Biden Foundation offices. As NBC News has it, since the discovery of the classified marked documents in the Penn Biden offices, aides to Joe Biden have been searching for any other classified material that might be in other locations that he used. This, of course, coming from a source who spoke on condition of anonymity to provide details. The White House is not responding to requests for comment, neither is the Department of Justice at this time. And it has to be said the classification level, number, and precise location of the additional documents was not immediately clear. Some of the 10 documents that were discussed earlier in the week included special compartmentalized documents. So they're sifting through documents stored at locations beyond that Penn Biden Foundation office to determine if there are any other classified documents that should be turned over to the National Archives and reviewed by the Department of Justice. The goal, according to the anonymous source, is to get a full accounting of all classified documents that may have been inadvertently packed in boxes when Joe Biden cleared out of the vice president's office space in January of 2017. Josh Hawley out of Missouri reacted, tweeting out the words special counsel. And Monday, the White House had issued a statement confirming that a, quote, small number of documents with classified markings that appeared to be from the Obama administration had been found, again, Penn Biden offices, on November 2nd. Biden told reporters that he was surprised by the discovery and that he did not know what was in the documents. The chair and the vice chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee have written to the Director of National Intelligence asking for access to these classified documents. They want a damage assessment by the intelligence community and a briefing on both the Biden and Trump documents. This request is similar to how the committee requested information after the Mar-a-Lago raid. So here's where we start to get into the sticky bits. Right now, the assertion is that upon discovering documents with classified markings, attorneys for Biden immediately reached out to the National Archives, and the National Archives took control of the documents the next day. The National Archives did refer the matter to the Justice Department. And U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland has asked John Lausch, he's the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois, and a holdover Trump appointee to review how the classified material ended up in the closet at the Penn Biden Foundation. Biden said yesterday, quote, "We're cooperating fully." A lawyer who specializes in national security issues, a guy named Bradley Moss, tweeted after the NBC report, quote, "Nothing I have seen changed my mind yet that Biden and his team, for now at least, are not at risk of criminal exposure. Nor do I have any reason to believe this changes the calculus on an indictment of Trump. That said, this sloppiness by Biden's staff angers me." We are going to hear every weasel-worded, legalese, partisan argument for why these two situations are apples and oranges. I think that some of the circumstances are different. The fact that Biden's team immediately reached out to the National Archives versus the hesitation because of Trump's belief that he was entitled to keep those documents, it is different, but I don't know that it makes a difference from any legal standpoint. You know, if you run a stop sign because you're playing on your cell phone, or you run a stop sign because you're rushing to the hospital to be with your wife as she gives birth to your child, you still ran a stop sign. Now, might you get different treatment depending upon how you plead your case to the officer who stops you? Yeah, it's within reason that would be so, obviously. But the fact of the matter is, if you ran the stop sign, you ran the stop sign. It doesn't matter how good or bad your reason is. Running the stop sign's the issue. Having the classified documents outside of the parameters where it is legally permissible and appropriate to do so is the issue. Of course, there's going to be some discretion in how the two matters are pursued. The appearance of partisanship is absolutely unavoidable. There's no way that you can continue to treat Donald Trump's possession of the documents he possessed as somehow proof of unfitness for office if you're going to give Joe Biden a pass on this. Conversely, if you're going to acknowledge that Joe Biden's office was packed up by staffers and human beings make mistakes, they misunderstand, they don't look carefully. It's go, 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 toss that stuff in bankers' boxes, we got to get out of here. You've got to extend that same benefit of the doubt to Donald Trump and his team and the folks that worked to help him transition out of the White House. And if anything, considering the tumultuous exit of President Trump and Vice President Mike Pence, and we can talk about where that tumult came from, but the fact of the matter was, at least in the moment, Donald Trump did not appear to believe that he was supposed to have left the White House, which means that the staff did not have the same run-up time. In the case of Joe Biden, you had an experienced hand. There was plenty of time for them to go through and make sure that they didn't have anything they shouldn't have. Whereas in the case of President Trump, it was pack and go, baby. We got to move. I'm not trying to make excuses for either one of these guys. I just want to bring it back to the reason doesn't matter. Did you do the thing or not? And if you're going to offer rationalizations for why it's okay for one guy to have done it, don't you have to extend that same courtesy to the other? And again, under the circumstances, what's the sell here? Well, Joe Biden seems like an awful nice guy. I'd love to have a beer with him, so I don't think he's guilty. 490-5858, 800-776-5858. I'll take your calls on this. You got a thought? Should Joe Biden be heavily, thoughtfully, thoroughly investigated, or is it time for the left to admit that when people in these positions of power pack up and leave, mistakes will be made, and that we need to fix the potential for those mistakes, not turn it into a political witch hunt? 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. Your calls are next on the Afternoon Drive on KMJ.
In Fresno, it's northbound 99, just south of Fresno Street at the off-ramp there. We got a non-injury accident being reported. Northbound 99 at Shaw, got a report of a fire. Then we head up to Chowchillo, northbound 99 at the westbound 152 connector. Got a hit-and-run non-injury accident at that location. Next update is at 5:03. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Norman, before we start the surgery, I have some bad news. What is it, doctor? Well, I never graduated from med school. But the good news is, it's the Xfinity Hello 2023 sale. Now hurry, because new Xfinity customers can get 75 megabit internet for just $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. And this will get your heart rate up. When you add Xfinity Mobile, you get the best price for 2 lines of unlimited.
I gotta get this deal.
Plus, for a limited time, get $500 back with 2 new mobile lines.
That's amazing, Doc.
I know. I don't want to miss this deal. Let's reschedule.
Doc?
Drop everything and get to the Xfinity Hello 2023 sale now through January 10th. Go to Xfinity.com/Hello 2023. Call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Internet offer requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After term, regular rates apply. Xfinity Internet required for Xfinity Mobile. Compares Xfinity Unlimited Intro to lowest price 5G plans of top 3 carriers. Reduced speeds after 20 gigabytes of usage per line. Data thresholds may vary.
You're never going to change, are you?
How can I trust you anymore? 1 minute you're hot, the next you're cold. They warned me about you. I thought if I just believed in you, we'd prove everyone wrong. But you're just broken. I can't do this anymore. I need to call Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating.
Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. How may I help you?
I just broke up with my heater.
I see, ma'am. We get that a lot this time of year. If you purchase a new HVAC system, we'll trade your ex-heater for $1,000.
I don't know if I'm strong enough.
Without a doubt, ma'am. Here at Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating, we offer 0 interest and no payment for 18 months, with no monthly payment. Same as cash.
Finally! My happy ending!
Anytime, ma'am. Just call us at 559-296-9555 to request a free estimate. CLN 635-355.
Let's ring in the new year. This is Christina Musan. Say goodbye to 2022 and hello to 2023 with some organization in your life. And who better to help than Closets by Design? Over the past 7 years, they've helped organize 5 of my closets, a garage, a mudroom, and even my wine storage. And I keep going back time and again because they make organization easy. From the initial design appointment to installation, customer service, your satisfaction is their priority. Check it out for yourself on my Facebook page and see the quality. And they're affordable. Right now, Closets by Design is offering 40% off, plus an additional 15% off and 18 months interest-free financing. Call Closets by Design, 453-7034. That's 453-7034. Check them out online at closetsbydesign.com. Closets by Design. Imagine your home beautifully organized.
Wondering if you should get the updated COVID-19 booster? Here are 3 reasons why you should. 1, vaccines and boosters provide better protection from COVID-19. 2, even if you've had COVID-19 before, boosters are recommended to keep your immunity strong, especially as new variants emerge. And 3, your risk of getting very sick from COVID-19 goes up with age, and boosters can help lower the chance of hospitalization and death. Find a booster near you at myturn.ca.gov. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
We couldn't find anyone from 1904 to give us an Electric Laboratories testimonial, but we did find these people.
Again, we're with electric cars, and they are a pioneer in the new generation of cars. Professional, up-to-date equipment.
They're professional, and they are so cordial.
I don't even consider taking my car anyplace else.
Electric Lab, since 1904. On Sierra between Blackstone and 41. Call 448-8300. They do it all.
Live, local, on it. News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
KMJ.
And always streaming at KMJNow.com.
Coasting towards 5 on your afternoon drive at News Talk 580 and 1059 KMJ. Worldwide, you can listen at KMJNow.com. Talking about a second set of classified marked documents found to be in possession of Joe Biden, holdovers from the Obama administration. After a first set was acknowledged to have been found in early November, though not announced until this week, a comprehensive search for more documents has been underway, and sure enough, more have turned up. Is this an apples and oranges thing so far as the Mar-a-Lago raid goes? Is this an opportunity for the right to assert that you cannot treat these two people differently, even if you have a bad case of the Orange Man bads? 490-5858. Karen's on the phone. Welcome back to KMJ. Karen, good afternoon.
Hello. Joe Biden took those papers out when he was vice president, and only a president should have had access to any of those to remove them from the White House, from wherever they're kept. And it's kind of ironic that they are all about Russia, Ukraine, and China. So, he took those out just before the election, and with this Hunter Biden thing now, it kind of puts a different light on it.
Yeah, Karen, it's an interesting thing because it would make sense that a sitting vice president would have access to classified documents in the context of the job. And so the fact that he, while he was in office, had access to them isn't in any way remarkable to me. That classified documents can be so easily accidentally swept up in a we got to get packed and move out, the new guy's coming kind of move, that worries me a lot, because that means that there is either a inappropriately casual habit of storage while you're in office, or the people who are doing the packing when it's time for the principals to move are not paying any attention to what they're doing. And you've got to rewrite how you approach an investigation into somebody who didn't load the files into the box themselves, right?
Yeah. The fact that it was in his office there is a little bit different than the fact that Trumps were at Mar-a-Lago with Secret Service there. He was in a facility there where anybody could have wandered into his office.
Yeah, I have no idea what the Secret Service rules are for a former vice president. I have no idea if he had a protection detail, but it doesn't sound to me like they were under heavy security. It sounds to me like they were sitting in a box in a closet somewhere. And again, that comes back to, are we really going to screech and squeal and scream about Donald Trump having stuff in a locked office at his place if Joe Biden's being given a pass for doing exactly the same thing? Again, I'm not surprised that either of these people had classified documents in the context of their jobs. I am stunned at the revelation that the people who are responsible for helping them move wouldn't have a better understanding of what to look for and what to weed out under these National Archive laws. I'm interested to see how the investigation goes under Merrick Garland and under this Trump appointee that he's brought in. The accountability question here is key. Again, doesn't matter why you ran the stop sign. Ran the stop sign. Got an update of headlines on the way with Jim Miller. Another look at your traffic with Greg Lane. Your trending topics at 5 o'clock are all on the way. Karen, thank you very much for the call. Phones are open for you guys at 490-5858 on the afternoon drive on KMJ.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in TuneIn Radio or Google Podcasts.
Inflation goes up. Do you feel like you need to refinance your car to fill up the gas tank? What if 2 years ago someone offered to sell you a lifetime supply of gas at $2.75 a gallon, but you told them no? Today, you would be kicking yourself. Right now, Planet Solar has that same offer for you on your electric bill. As inflation goes up, so does your utility bill. Lock in your energy prices today with a new Planet Solar system. Planet Solar is locally owned and operated in Clovis. They're big enough to offer you all the best brands and in-house financing, but small enough to give you the personal service you deserve. Call Planet Solar to find out how to lock in your electricity costs today. You'll be glad you did. Call them at 559-228-9245 or find them on the web at planetsolar.com. That's 228-9245 or planetsolar.com. License number 938313.
Ad paid for by Montreal Drugstore. Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. PowerPill allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 per pill? Call today and get 50 Viagra pills for only $99. This could cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call this if you want Viagra at the lowest prices. Never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 per pill. Call 800-204-0017 today to save up to $500 and get 50 pills for just $99. Power Pill is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 800-204-0017 to take your call now. Call 800-204-0017. That's 800-204-0017. Again, 800-204-0017.
What a year it's been for Best Concrete Blocks. Seems like everybody's finding a way to use these versatile and affordable blocks. Walls, barriers, material separation, they're nearly indestructible. And now, Best Concrete Blocks is introducing Pretty Boy, a great choice for adding an aesthetically appealing block with a beautiful stonemason's design. The Pretty Boy block is perfect for areas that have public visibility. See Pretty Boy for yourself at bestconcreteblocks.com or call 288-7902.
California's acclaimed Harris Ranch Inn and Restaurant, among the first and largest farm-to-fork dining destinations in the San Joaquin Valley. It's the perfect drive-in or fly-in destination. Indulge in our prime steakhouse, where you'll enjoy our tender beef aged to perfection, or try our casual ranch kitchen for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Unwind in our Horseshoe Lounge, featuring your favorite cocktails, wine, and several beers on tap. Relax and enjoy an overnight stay in one of our spacious suites at the Harris Ranch Inn, where you'll experience first-class service. It's an oasis for travelers and locals alike. Join us where the West unwinds. Visit harrisranch.com.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
News Talk, 580 AM, 105.9 FM, KMJ, Fresno, a Cumulus Media station.
KMJ.
It's 5 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. Merced County Sheriff's deputies looking for a man suspected in a double homicide in Hillmar last night. 40-year-old Victor Bazan is suspected of killing two adults at a home on American Avenue near Lander Avenue. Merced County Sheriff's deputies responded to the home on Tuesday night. They believe Bazan is related to one of the victims. He's a transit known to live in the Modesto, Ceres, and Turlock areas. There's a warrant for his arrest. If you have any information, you can contact the Merced County Sheriff's Office. Musician Jeff Beck has died suddenly after contracting bacterial meningitis. According to his family, Beck and Johnny Depp had just released an album this year called 18 in July.
Just a boy and a little girl trying to change the whole wide world. Isolation.
Beck was one of rock's legendary guitarists and first burst into the scene as a member of the British band the Yardbirds. He joined the band as a replacement for fellow guitar legend Eric Clapton. In 1965, Beck died at the age of 78. Many schools reopening today after some classes canceled earlier in the week because of the heavy rainfall. Foothill Elementary School, Sierra High School, and Sierra Junior High School at Sierra Unified School District reopening. All schools in Mariposa County had the same schedule. Well, Colorado cracking down on vanity license plates. Fox's Lillian Wu has the details.
Nearly 25,000 requests for vanity plates were rejected by the Colorado Division of Motor Vehicles in 2022, some for being clearly offensive, rude, or vulgar. Others were less obvious, such as acronyms for nasty phrases, insults in other languages, and slang, for instance, sizz, which could be a drug term. Still, though, some seemingly innocuous requests also got the boot, like bubby, which is Yiddish for grandma, and the exclamation, egad. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Christina Lopez.
Happy Wednesday afternoon to you. Right here in the Fresno area, cloudy skies with a high near 54 with windy conditions and rain beginning between noon and 5 p.m. Expect gusts up to 15 miles per hour, a low of 54 degrees tonight. Rain showers will return in time for the weekend beginning on Friday, potentially bringing between a tenth to a quarter of an inch of rain. At the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Christina Lopez. For KMJ News, make it a great afternoon.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Joe Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Thank you, Jim. In Fresno, they're dealing on northbound 99 at Fresno Street off-ramp with a non-injury accident. In Visalia, Avenue 396 west of Road 16, the road is closed at this time. And northbound 99 in Chowchilla at westbound 152 connector, there's a hit-and-run non-injury accident. Next update, 517. It's Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Now, the Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi. Philip Teresi. Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
504 at News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Good afternoon and welcome to Hour 4 of your Afternoon Drive. Phone numbers remain 490-5858 and toll free. You can join us at 800-776-5858. Find the show on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch.tv at Drive KMJ. And at Drive KMJ is where you'll find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Joshua Weekly is standing by to screen your calls this afternoon as we present your trending topics at 5 o'clock. Multiple evacuation take two for those of you that don't speak idiot. Multiple evacuation orders were issued yesterday around the valley due to flooding. Schools in Sierra Unified and Merced City School District closed Tuesday because of unsafe weather conditions. Yosemite Unified School District is also closed. There is no word on how long the closures may last. Most of the San Joaquin Valley is now under some form of flood watch or another. A tornado warning was issued for Tulare County yesterday evening as radar detected rotation and reports of a funnel cloud from storm watchers. Candy Hopkins spotted a funnel cloud Tuesday in Merced County. She was able to submit that photo to our news partner, Fox 26 News, and you can see it at kmph.com. Merced County Sheriff Vern Warnke took to social media to implore drivers not to drive through flooded roadways or to pass set barricades. He said, "We have numbskulls running barricades thinking they should be able to go through there. Please help us by helping you." Madera Community Hospital's financial woes and closure have put pressure on the community to step in an attempt to save the region's lone hospital. One option being considered by the Madera County Board of Supervisors is to throw $7 million of its remaining American Rescue Plan funding at the problem. An FAA system failure prompted massive flight delays Wednesday morning. All domestic departures were grounded until 9 o'clock Eastern Time through the Federal Aviation Administration. The White House announced today that President Biden had been briefed on the massive outage, although they assert that there is no evidence that it was caused by a cyber attack. Katie Porter is a California congresswoman, and she's now running for the United States Senate in California. Congresswoman Porter is the first announced challenger to fellow Democrat Dianne Feinstein, who at 89 years old has yet to declare her plans for 2024, but at this time is not expected to seek re-election. Senator Feinstein said she would make an announcement concerning her plans for 2024 at the appropriate time. And the Biden administration has acknowledged a second set of Obama-era classified documents have been found to have been in the possession of Joe Biden prior to his election to president, raising questions about equal treatment under the law for the 45th and 46th president possessing classified documents outside of the context of the office in which they would have been authorized to view them. 508 now on your afternoon drive. Phones open at 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. And we are seeing rain again here at Radio City. It has started to come down. And there's a couple articles that popped up that I thought were worth at least just a passing conversation. KTXL talking about hydroplaning. And I feel like we talked about hydroplaning in driver's ed. It seems like something that we covered when I was 15 and a half. I honestly cannot remember if hydroplaning has come up. I think since I was 16 years old, I've had to take a written retest for my driver's license once or twice. And I honestly cannot remember if there was anything of that sort on the test when I took it. So KTXL, of course, says, when a car begins to hydroplane, you'll feel a loss in steering and control. And they say this is where it gets kind of important. Don't try to steer the car in another direction and do not brake. Doing either can send the car into a skid. The Department of Motor Vehicles advises drivers ease off the gas, let the car slow down by itself. You should feel the car control of the car return to the steering wheel as the tires make contact with the road. Now, there's a couple of different things that go into this: speed, the amount of water on the ground, the tread of the tires. But the DMV says hydroplaning is more likely if tire pressure is low or if tire tread is worn. They also say cars are at risk of hydroplaning when going 50 miles an hour or more in heavy rain, but it can happen as slow as 30 miles an hour if the road is appropriately wet. So don't brake, don't accelerate, and don't try to steer away from it. Take your foot off the gas, let your car slow down, and you should get your grip back. It seems very, very basic, but I thought it was worth revisiting. We're seeing a lot of slipping and sliding on the road right now. This storm is bananas. And the other one here, coming by way of Cap Radio, what to do when you see trees downed. And, of course, the biggest piece in this, in my mind, is not that a tree has fallen down. At a certain point, it gets really obvious. I need to call the county, or I need to call a tree cutter or a lumberjack, or I need to call my insurance company. The big one is if you have trees in the area of power lines. And I know that we've got, there's a fair bit of Fresno now. I think a lot of what's north of Shaw, not all, but a lot of what's north of Shaw, you've got underground transmission lines. So it's kind of a non-issue. In my neighborhood, I've still got telephone poles. And especially when you get south of Shaw, you get into tower areas like that. There's a lot of above ground transmission lines. Call 311 in the city of Fresno. That's the same thing as 621 City. 311. Report it there. If you believe that power lines are involved, call 911 and let them know that you think power lines have been impacted. Don't try to get involved. Don't try to move anything, because if you don't work for PG&E, you don't know the status of those power lines. You could get hurt or killed way quicker than you realize should you see the issue. Now, if there's property damage, don't wait to find a contractor. Start making calls immediately. Go through your insurance company. They'll help you find somebody that's going to be able to work with them. There's an Allstate agent, Danny Day, who talked to Cap Radio, who says he advises people to contact a contractor to help with tree removal, whether it's a referral from friends and family or through your insurance company. Even before a team goes out to the site to appraise the damage, get a quote for how much it's going to cost to repair. That's going to help expedite the process, especially when you've got a high volume of people seeking repairs. As soon as you know there's a problem, try to find a person who can help. Take lots of photographs and get in line with your contractor. And again, State Farm and Allstate both say, regardless of who your insurance provider is, reach out to your insurance agent, clarify what your policy is going to cover, and pictures. Again, don't go wandering into a minefield. If power lines are down, stay away. But if you know it's safe, photograph it from every possible angle. If it's safe to do so, photograph the interior. Whether a contractor's crawling around or not is not going to make a difference so far as your insurance company is concerned. And if you need to get supplies to prevent additional damage from occurring, like if you're going to get a tarp to put on the corner of the roof or whatever, hang on to your receipts, because even small expenses like that they can be reimbursed by your insurance company if the claim is covered. And yeah, I mean, a tarp isn't much money, but why wouldn't you avail yourself of the opportunity? Now, Allstate, State Farm, AAA, USAA, Progressive, and American Family Insurance all have catastrophic claims pages. And you can Google search, or I guess Yahoo search or DuckDuckGo search, for Allstate or State Farm or AAA and so on for catastrophic claims. It'll take you right to where you need to be. They also say don't assume that your neighbor's liable for paying damages if their tree falls on your property. One agent said the only reason that a neighbor would be on the hook if their tree falls and causes damage to your home or car would be if they were proven to be negligent, like if the tree was already dead before the storm and they failed to remove it. Their insurance company is going to be on the hook for paying damages and repairs. Otherwise, you got to deal with it. It's your responsibility. Now, if you're not sure what your policy covers, you can call the California Department of Insurance. And right now, even in the storm, they've got bodies ready to go. They're saying that the wait time is not like minutes, and like a couple minutes. And Tony Signorelli, the department's deputy commissioner of consumer services, says, we'll help you go through your policy, help you understand your coverage. Did you just have liability? Did you also have collision comprehensive? What would cover flood damage to your car or a tree falling on your car? And again, they hammer this home. If you think there's a downed power line, or if you can see that there is a downed power line, the first thing you do is call 911. Get to the contractors, get to the pictures, all of that in due time. But if there's power lines involved, 911, not 311, not dispatch, not your next door's best friend's roommate's dog walker who used to be an electrician. 911, because it's a big deal. Mike's on the phone at 490-5858. Michael, what are you seeing out there?
Oh, my biggest concern is not the flooding. It's now the massive potholes that are growing and swallowing up cars. I drive about 14 to 15 miles across town from one side to the other, and the potholes are everywhere, and every time I go by them, they get larger and larger. And I drive a truck, F-150, so it's not as bad, but I'm still getting, it's still pot. Every time you hit one, it's pop, 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 which does more damage to your vehicle than, per se, water itself.
Oh, yeah. No, you can, especially driving around in an F-150, you can let it sit in the rain. It's going to be fine. But you hit a pothole going 45 miles an hour. If it's deep enough, you could jack your truck up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, easily. And so, that's my thing. I just wanted to throw that in there, and I think it's a good topic because our roads are not looking good right now. Over 80% of them have some type of road damage to them over the last 15 to 20 years. I don't know if our current mayor is addressing that, but there's definitely been a lack of, road correction or road cleaning up and road paving. The only place I've seen is Shaw between Palm and Blackstone and McKinley off the 168-180. That's it.
Oh, dude.
Road improvements.
The road improvements have been helpful to a certain extent. Shaw and Palm ain't perfect, man. There's a pothole as you get through the intersection northbound on Palm that will it'll wake you up.
No doubt. All right, well, let other callers come in. Thank you for your time.
Michael, thank you for the heads up on that. It's a good reminder. And one more reason to just take it easy, slow down a little bit, give yourself a little extra space, a little extra maneuvering room. But yeah, he's not kidding. If you haven't been for a drive of any distance lately, the roads are showing the effects of deferred maintenance. That's going to be our crisis in spring. That's going to be our big headache. Everybody is going to be calling their city councilman wanting potholes filled all over Fresno. Might be a good time to invest in an asphalt company.
And out on the roadways, Avenue 396 at Road 16, this is in Visalia. They have road closure being reported there. Then to Chowchilla and northbound 99 at the westbound 152 connector. Got a hit-and-run non-injury accident. And eastbound 180 at 41, they're still dealing with an injury accident there. Some road blockage still being reported. Our next update is at 5:33. Greg Lane, KMJ Traffic.
Meet the Kerr Companies. We are Kerr Wealth Management, Kerr Tax Advisors, Kerr Payroll, and Kerr Insurance. Collectively, we do it all under one umbrella. If you're a business owner or professional looking for straightforward business advice, investment solutions, payroll, or tax solutions, the Kerr Companies would love to meet with you to show you simple, straightforward solutions for complex problems. Call the Kerr Companies today at 559-277-4772 or online at thekerrcompanies.com. KerrCompanies.com.
Samba through big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Hi, I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Ben. Choosing the best mattress can be difficult, but one company has made it easy: Clovis Mattress. We've created a simple lineup of mattresses to suit all budgets and, more importantly, all sleeping styles.
But the best part is, all our mattresses are made right here in the Central Valley. We still use traditional techniques and the finest materials, but now every mattress we sell directly benefits the local community.
But that's not the only difference. At Clovis Mattress, we are open by appointment only. Why? Because we want every customer to get the royal treatment, so we can guide you through our amazing collection with no hard sell, no distractions, just the right information to help you find your perfect mattress.
So call Clovis Mattress today, 559-500-2222, or visit clovismattress.com. Again, that's clovismattress.com to book your appointment and secure free delivery from now until January 2023.
Buy local, support local at Clovis Mattress.
Welcome back to Sports Chat. We're talking about last night's controversial rain delay. Let's go with caller 2, Gary in Fresno. What's your take?
Yeah, I've got a fleet of 8 service vans and 4 16-wheelers I wanted to wrap with custom graphics.
Is there something in here about the rain delay, Gary?
I'll say there is. So I go to one graphics place, and I kid you not, they said I had to wait until the rainy season was over to have my fleet wrapped because they do it outside.
Gary, I'm not sure you understand.
He said it's the same if it's too hot. Hello, we're in Fresno.
Okay, now I'm actually curious. What'd you do, Gary?
I went over to Mega Prints. They've got a massive indoor bay where they can wrap a tractor-trailer rig or multiple fleet vehicles at the same time, inside. It doesn't matter what the weather's doing outside.
And how'd Mega Prints do for you, Gary?
Total pros. My fleet looks amazing. Hey, about the game last night, I don't quite understand what...
Ooh, time's up, Gary. Folks, Mega Prints will wrap your fleet in eye-catching graphics any day, rain or shine. Search Mega Prints Fresno, check out their work online, and give them a call.
I am a very happy camper because I get to tell you about the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center. Yeah, exactly the same place I was talking to you about 15, 20 years ago. Do you know this local company is 42 years old? 42 years dabbling with trucks. I think they know what they're doing. And right now, I need to address you people that have companies and you people who are farmers with fleet vehicles. This is an area where the Noble Brothers have really carved out their expertise. Whether it's cabinets, truck racks, ladder racks, toolboxes, van interiors, van shelving, and a lot of it. Remember, I use the F word, fleet. If you have fleet needs, you need the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center. 2 of them, one out in Sunnyside, the other one on Blackstone near Sierra. I got to know them when they turned a Jeep Wrangler of mine into a masterpiece, and I just got another Jeep. And they're doing it all over again. I can't wait for the finished product. Click nobletruck.com. Noble, N-O-B-I-L-E. If it's a pickup, a van, a Jeep, oh, even a fifth wheel, you totally need the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center since 1980.
It's 523, News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Phone's open for you at 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. Douglas Belkin and Lindsay Ellis writing for the Wall Street Journal about the efforts that remote workers are going to foil surveillance attempts. If you're a remote worker, you're probably already aware that there's a lot of effort going into tracking productivity in folks who are no longer or are less frequently reporting to the office. This is some of the inventiveness of this is just fantastic. They talked to one lady, Lisa Crawford, works in marketing from her home in Phoenix, Arizona. She said that she's wary of her computer falling asleep when she gets up to throw in a load of laundry or to prep for dinner. She might miss the ping of an email from a supervisor and be too slow to reply. So her solution has been something called Sloth TV. It's a live cam of a Costa Rican wildlife rescue where volunteers are feeding baby sloths. Okay, not the worst thing she could put on. She pulls up the stream on a second monitor. That way, her computer stays awake and she can hear notifications that pop up so she can get back to her desk if she was off changing laundry or cooking dinner. As a bonus, she gets to stay up to speed on the baby sloths. Since the start of the pandemic, about a third of medium to large companies have adopted some kind of worker surveillance program. That brings the overall share of employers using those systems to about 2 out of 3. So you've got companies that are tallying badge swipes to get into the office. You've also got companies making lists of less productive employees in case the recession makes layoffs necessary. They are also, in some cases, bringing in consultants whose job is to identify so-called quiet quitters, people who are just doing exactly what's in their job description and nothing more. If you go back to September, Microsoft issued a report describing paranoia in which 85% of business leaders questioned whether their hybrid workforce was being productive. This is in spite of the fact that people are generally working more than ever. And so now we have what the Microsoft report calls productivity theater. Employees trying to show that they're busy doing something, even if it's joining a meeting they don't need to be in. Oh, that sounds like a little slice of hell. Now you're seeing social media accounts popping up where folks are sharing ways to outsmart supervisors, guard their personal lives, or just avoid looking like a shirker. One career coach is providing like step-by-step lessons on techniques. DeJuan, early on in his career, in between consulting projects, would get up at 8 a.m. and open a PowerPoint slide on his laptop and click present. He wasn't doing anything, and nobody was seeing the slides. He had just learned that his computer wouldn't go to sleep or mark him as idle while PowerPoint was in presentation mode. He also acknowledges that because the computer was alert, he didn't have to be, which means Mr. DeJuan was catching up on his sleep. He created a TikTok video on the strategy back in October. The slide for PowerPoint was all white with black text reading, "Really important work meeting." Just hit slideshow and you're good to go, he says to the audience. That tutorial, oh my God, oh my Lord, 10 million views. One responder saying, well, that explains why I see people presenting for 5 hours. And another one saying, this is why people who have to be in the office are asking for more money. Mr. DeJuan would not necessarily recommend the maneuver. He says using it too much is probably a sign that the worker should go find a new job. A guy named Muhammad Abbas went remote early in the pandemic. Management liked the idea of him being able to continue to work while staying away from everybody else. And so he was at home in Barstow, California, collecting $27 an hour. His buddies in the IT department got him up to speed, saying work computers would shut down if they were left idle for more than 10 minutes, meaning bosses would know if somebody was away from their desk. That irked Mr. Abbas. He's got responsibilities that include setting up training for new employees, coordinating calendar invites for meetings, handling travel vouchers, and sometimes there was none of that to do. But his employer still wanted him logged on. He said it didn't make any sense. So he wrapped the cord of his mouse around an oscillating fan. It kept the mouse moving and prevented the computer from shutting off. Abbas says, I logged on. Then I went to the gym. Another time, he opened the Notes application, placed a lock on the keyboard over the letter C. The page filled with row after row of the letter C while he went about his business. And now, if you're just not that inventive, you can go on Amazon and buy something called a mouse jiggler. You hit a button when you're leaving your desk, and the mouse cursor just travels around the screen randomly for hours. Folks are also coming up with, talk about productivity theater. A desk covered with papers makes it look like you're in the middle of 5 things at once. There's a point at which you've got to just consider, is this the right job for me? Is this where I want to be? I understand employers not wanting to pay people to do nothing. And a lot of this, putting your mouse on the back of a fan or locking the keyboard so that it just keeps typing a single letter, or buying a mouse jiggler. This is people who they're not doing anything. They're collecting an hourly wage for doing nothing. Is that the point of employment? See, this is where I think we've gotten a little bit sideways. This is where I think sometimes treating everybody as expendable and every moment as company property. If you have an employee who is highly productive, highly efficient, who is able to accomplish everything that you want from them, and they are able to give you more output, more productivity, more profitability in their 8-hour workday than any other employee, why do you care if they took a 2-hour lunch? Did they answer the call? Did they take care of the client? Did they get the TPS report appropriately adorned with its respective cover sheets? Why do you care if they're logged into their computer for 8 continuous hours? And this is where the balance question starts to come in. I would not want to feel like I had to lie to my employer. What is it you want me to do? Did I accomplish what you wanted me to do? Am I justifying my presence by increasing the output, the productivity and the profitability of the company in a way that makes my presence valuable? Because if I can do everything that you need from me in 4 hours or in 6 hours, if I'm more productive than a guy who's grinding, who's sincerely at the machine and working his butt off for 8 hours, and I can do it in half the time or 2/3 the time, why wouldn't you embrace that? Why wouldn't you ask for advice on techniques and tips to make everybody more productive, possibly even including management? If you're a remote worker, I'm curious, and it's okay if you want to be anonymous. You can be a John Doe or a Jane Doe here. Are you doing any of this stuff? Have you bought a mouse jiggler? Are you opening PowerPoint presentations that lead nowhere? Or are you finding that the paranoia of the employers is being ever so slightly overstated by our friends at the Journal? I'll take your calls on the other side at 490-5858 or 800-776-5858.
KMJ News now.
It's 5:30 in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. A box truck crashed into a home in Pulaski Avenue and 8th Street in Clovis this morning. That crash broke a gas line to the home, starting a fire. The driver and passenger both burned and have been transported to CRMC. Good news, nobody in the home at the time of the crash. The gas meter was shared off, so PG&E was called to turn off the gas at a main line away from the house. Fire crews had to wait for PG&E before they could put out the fire, so it just took a defensive posture to keep the flames from spreading. After the flow of gas was turned off, the fire quickly put out. Highway 168 toward Shaver Lake partially open after a severe rock slide earlier this week. Highway became open to one-way traffic yesterday. Caltrans says the rest of the lanes closed the next 5 days because the upcoming weather can make the roads unsafe. It's the second time the highway was closed in the past 2 weeks. Florida's governor appealing a decision against the new law against so-called wokeness, and a group of state university officials fighting back. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal reports.
When federal judge Mark Walker struck down Florida's Individual Freedom Act, also known as the Stop Woke Act, he called it positively dystopian. Governor Ron DeSantis says the bill is meant to stop schools and businesses from teaching or instructing workers that people from one race are inherently racist, or groups of people are oppressed or oppressors based on their race or gender. The judge found that to be a violation of the First Amendment, but also due process under the 14th Amendment. Now, a group of Florida University professors has asked a federal judge to block Governor DeSantis from requesting data regarding how much the State Department of Education and public universities spend on diversity, equity, inclusion, and critical race theory programs as DeSantis appeals. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Christina Lopez.
Happy Wednesday afternoon to you. Right here in the Fresno area, cloudy skies with a high near 54 with windy conditions and rain beginning between noon and 5 p.m. Expect gusts up to 15 miles per hour, a low of 54 degrees tonight. Rain showers will return in time for the weekend beginning on Friday, potentially bringing between a tenth to a quarter of an inch of rain. At the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Christina Lopez for KMJ News. Make it a great afternoon.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
Okay, Jim, thank you very much. Northbound 99 at Fresno Street, a 9-injury accident involving a couple vehicles. They got tow trucks there. Should have that area back to normal here pretty quick. Also, northbound 99 at westbound 152 connector, the road is now clear after a hit-and-run 9-injury accident. And then in Visalia, Avenue 396, Road 16, got a report of a road closure at that location. Final update at 5:47. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
When your business information is missing or inconsistent across the internet, search engines won't find you, and customers won't either. Help ensure customers see you and not your competitors. Boost your findability. CumulusBoost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code DRIVER for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code DRIVER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code DRIVER for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
You know, for a number of years, I've been telling you about the Zuber team, and now that I've sold my home to them in one of their programs called the Instant Cash Offer, I really get it, because I've been Zubered by Darren and Daryl, the Zuber team with Real Broker. You want to be Zubered? They will help with repairs. You can't afford to get that, air conditioning fixed, maybe a little paint, need some new carpet. They'll do that for you and settle up at the end when you have cash in hand. I can tell you they're the number one team in the Fresno-Clovis area since 2011. I can tell you they've sold close to 7,000 homes since 1971. I can tell you about the thousands they spend in marketing your home. But now that I've worked with them, I can tell you it all works for real. I can't do a bigger endorsement than that. 2 words. I'm happy. Google Zuber Team or click Zuberteam.com, Z-U-B-E-R. Any interest in joining the Zuber Team? Then do what I just told you.
License number 1213700.
Attention Fresno. If you've ever thought about going solar, you must go solar right now. The benefits are about to change. Time is running out, but it's not too late. You can go solar right now with Semper Solaris with no money out of pocket and no payments until 2024. Imagine having no electric bill and no payment for all of next year. Keep your money in your pocket and go solar American style with Semper Solaris. Protect your family from skyrocketing electric bills. You must act today to lock in your savings. Call 559-242-1800. That's 559-242-1800. Semper Solaris is local and veteran-owned, so they'll get the job done with esprit de corps and honor.
Tesla Powerwall and Enphase batteries are in stock. Grab the 30% solar federal tax credit, $500 downloadable coupon, $500 off for military and first responders. Plus, 0 down, 0% interest, and 0 payments until 2024. For all offers, call 559-242-1800 or visit sempersolaris.com. Expires 1/31/2023. CSLB number 978152.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino.
Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now.
You like to talk, so it shouldn't be a problem.
The Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
Rolling through your 5 o'clock hour on the Afternoon Drive on KMJ. Talking about this article from the Wall Street Journal. Mouse jigglers fake PowerPoints and workers foil boss's surveillance attempts. Douglas Belkin and Lindsay Ellis writing about hybrid workers and remote workers and some of the sometimes very inventive but frequently heartbreakingly inane things that people will do to make it look like they are at their desk and engaged in the job because there is now paranoia that people aren't getting stuff done. I understand why an employer wants a fair measure from an employee for their time. I really do. And I've always believed that you've got an obligation when you sign up for a job to do your absolute best, to be as productive as is possible, to make the best use of the resources at your disposal. Not that we're all saints, not that we're all expected to be perfect, not to say that people don't have an off day or a need to sometimes chill out a little bit and take it easier than maybe they would in the normal course of events. And I don't think that there's an employer being reasonable that fails to understand any of that. I remote work now. I'm actually at Radio City. I do the show from the KMJ studio. I come in here shortly before the beginning of the program, have my crosstalk with Ray Appleton, and then I'm here with you guys in the studio, and you can watch me on the feed on Facebook and YouTube and all that, and see that I'm sitting in a room that's pretty obviously some kind of commercial concern. I guess the mic arm gives it away. I could do this job from home. It wouldn't be super convenient because I've got a wife, I got kids, I got dogs. There would be noise and stuff in the background, and I just don't have enough space to completely sequester myself in the bunker under the house or in a he shed in the backyard. I'd be sitting in my home office where 100% you would hear it if somebody was doing a load of laundry. And I like coming in. I think it makes for a better product to be here where I can see Greg, where I can see Josh, where I can make eye contact with Liz Kern, and so on. But the first half of my workday, sometimes more than that, I do work at home. And the expectation from my employer, and I know my job's weird, I understand that, but there is still a business to be run, and there is still a level of productivity, a level of preparedness that's expected. My employer trusts me to do the elements of my job that are reasonable to do from home in a way that results in me arriving at showtime prepared to get on the radio and talk to you guys. I think that one of the first things that would go away if I started showing up unprepared, I think one of the first things that would go away would be the work from home thing. I think I'd be told you need to be in the office. You need to be here where there can be some oversight, some structure, maybe the distractions of changing over a load of laundry or feeding the dogs is getting to be too much. But I've worked more than a few jobs that had remote work been a thing at the time. I'd be able to get the job done especially minus the distractions of the office, I'd be able to get the job done in a lot less time than a full workday. One gig that I had, I basically functioned as an accountant and a human resources administrator. Isn't that exciting? Imagine why I came back to radio. And truthfully, a major part of my workday was spent hanging out with the guy who owned the company and hanging out with the shop foreman. And yeah, when stuff came up, when there was a need, when the phone rang, everybody jumped on it. And if somebody called and needed supplies, I'd be the first one to say, yeah, throw it in my truck. I'll take it out to the site. But it was an extremely relaxed pace. If I had just been doing what my job description was, I would say that other than, because we did payroll every Friday. Other than Fridays, I probably could have done all of my job in about 3.5 hours. Now, would my boss have felt like he was getting the same value if I wasn't there? If I wasn't Johnny on the spot to take a load of supplies out to somebody on a job site? If I wasn't there when the shop foreman had a question about inventory or whatever? I don't know. Maybe not. But it's the productivity that's the thing. And I think that we've gotten to a point in the way that we negotiate our jobs and in the way that we agree to employment where it's become unnecessarily adversarial. Now, look, there are bad bosses in the world. There are employers and managers and corporations that will mistreat you, that will abuse you, that will take advantage of your loyalty and your work ethic, and will do everything that they can to get the maximum from you for the least possible output. They won't deal with you fairly. And I know this is an easier said than done thing. You should quit. You should run screaming. And this quiet quitting phenomenon that's discussed here, where people have taken to doing exactly what's in their job description and nothing more. Quiet quitting. I don't want to work that way. When a new opportunity pops up, when a chance to learn something different pops up, I want to jump in front of it. I want to be the guy who knows how to do everything. And that, whether I'm doing this or I'm setting tile or I'm bookkeeping and doing human resources, I want to be engaged. I want to know what it is that the company does. And if there's a better way to do my job, I'm probably going to learn it by doing things that aren't my job. But I think that the metrics are screwed up, especially in terms of these distance workers. The equation should not be, I pay you for 8 hours and therefore you must be logged on and staring at your computer screen for 8 hours. It should be, I pay you to achieve these benchmarks. These are your expectations, daily, weekly, monthly. If you achieve these benchmarks, I don't care if you worked 10 hours or 200. But that's what you're getting paid for, and that goes to a salary type situation. And people who are really efficient and people who make a point of educating themselves and learning to play all positions, they're going to do fine. And the people who like to goof around and procrastinate and drag their feet are going to weed themselves out because they're not going to hit those benchmarks. They're not going to deliver on whatever it is they're expected to deliver on. And they can be weeded out. They can be let go. They can be retrained. They can be transferred to another department. But I think that as remote work grows, and it's going to grow, it's not going away, it's not going to get smaller, it's going to grow. As it grows, setting out those expectations and basing pay and performance evaluations on accomplishing those goals, that's the key. There's nothing worse than an employer who just wants you to be there because, well, it'll make me feel better if you're here. No. You paid me to make widgets. You paid me to process paperwork. You didn't pay me to be your buddy or your babysitter. We've got to update how we evaluate the value of employees. If remote work's going to continue, and it is, the number of hours you're logged in can't be the thing. It's the Afternoon Drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ Worldwide. You can always listen at KMJNow.com.
On East McKinley at North Leonard in Fresno, got a collision with unknown injuries at this point. Then on southbound 43 near Mountain View, there is an animal in the roadway there. Be very cautious. West Shields Avenue, North Russell in Los Banos got a non-injury accident. And northbound 99 at the 152 connector in Chowchilla, the road is now back open and up to speed after an earlier accident. Be careful out there. Watch your speeds and your distance. Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Your parking lot is the welcome mat to your business. If your parking lot looks old, cracked, has potholes, and you can't see the parking stalls anymore, call R. Mark Richard. They specialize in parking lot improvements, seal coating, crack filling, slurry sealing, patching, and parking lot striping. They will resurface your parking lot to look brand new for pennies on the dollar of replacing it. R. Mark Richard has highly experienced technicians to do the job right the first time. Call 559-592-9800 or go to rmarkrichard.com and put the welcome back in your parking lot.
Samba through big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Whether it's Monday or Sunday, every day is a work day for farmers. This is Christina Mousson with Gar Bennett. Farming isn't easy and often at the mercy of Mother Nature. Timing is critical to planting, plowing, picking and packing, and it doesn't matter what day of the week it is or holiday celebration. The work doesn't stop while there are still chores to do and fields to tend. Rain and cooler weather means there's less time to get ready and make repairs. Gar Bennett's CAMs and PCAs don't waste time and don't leave their growers standing alone in the field. They are experts at timing, treating, and designing programs that produce great yields and quality fruit. Grow with Gar Bennett, the growing experts, for the best water, irrigation, nutrition, regulatory, and crop care advice and products at 800-696-6108 and online at garbennett.com. Gar Bennett, we help growers feed the world at 800-696-6108.
Oh, wait until you see it. Lou Rodman's Patio Barstool and Amish Emporium. This place is probably 3 times bigger than the old one. Where is it? Right across the street from Lowe's, next to Fashion Furniture. You know where that is. Lou has just taken in a brand new shipment of what you call Ray's Rockers, the Amish rocking chair that I'm in love with. Lou says you come through the door of the new place and you say, all right, where is it? I want one of Ray's Rockers. I live in mine from the time I get off the air at home until when I go to bed. And one thing Lou has not been able to get for a year, but he's got them now, outdoor bar stools. You've been screaming for them. He's got a massive selection from the floor to the ceiling at the new location. Wait until you see the new Amish handmade entertainment centers. Beautiful Amish bedroom sets. And for the big shot, the handmade Amish desks for your office. These are beyond magnificent. Lou Rodman's brand new Patio Barstool and Amish Emporium. You'll find items up to 50% off in every department. You know why? It's the end of the year sale going on right now.
When I want my company name and or logo on a coffee mug or a mouse pad or polo or t-shirt or award plaque, better yet, 1,000 coffee mugs, mouse pads or shirts, even 1,000 award plaques, I'm ready to go. But who do I go with? Oh, do I really have to tell you? It's right here on the tip of my tongue. Hello, California Embroidery. This is so easy. You walk in, Blackstone and Herndon, Fresno. You walk out with anything from apple-colored coffee mugs to zebra-striped golf towels. That's right, A to Z. All with your company's logo proudly emblazoned on each. Since 1995, California Embroidery has taken your ideas and made them amazing. Create something fantastic. Call California Embroidery, 447-5304. 447-5304. That's 447-5304. California Embroidery.
Congratulations to KMJ's Morning News with Christopher Gabriel and Matt Ottstadt on winning the Business Journal's Award for Best Morning Show for a 6th consecutive year.
Everything that happens in Fresno's got to run the gauntlet at KMJ. It is such a blessing for you all to have what you have. It's been 100 years of communicating with your community. There's nothing like that for 1,000 miles.
And so ends our broadcast day.
Rolling up on 6 o'clock on your afternoon drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. Thank you for hanging out this afternoon. Thank you to Andrea Jones for being a part of the first 2 hours of the show. If you missed that, go get the podcast at kmjnow.com. It'll be online in just a couple of minutes. Now, I don't know what sky visibility is going to be like for the next couple of days as storms continue over all of California. But if we get a clear moment at night and you see a little green light in the sky, don't panic. It's not aliens. It's a green comet, and it is going to be passing by Earth this week. It's going to be visible in the night sky for nearly a month. Its grown-up name is Comet C2002 E3ZTF. It was discovered last March when it was already inside the orbit of Jupiter, and again, it is distinguishable by a unique green glow. The scientists say it'll make its closest approach to the sun, perihelion, on the 12th, so tomorrow. But it's going to be visible to stargazers in the northern hemisphere throughout the month. Southern hemisphere should be able to see the comet in February. NASA wrote on their blog, comets are notoriously unpredictable, but if this one continues its current trend in brightness, it's going to be easy to spot even with binoculars. And it's just possible it'll become visible to the unaided eye on dark enough skies. The comet will move to the northwest on the horizon through January. It'll make its closest pass to the Earth between February 1st and February 2nd, when it will be 26 million miles away from our planet. Doesn't seem close enough, does it? Comet will be near Mars roughly a week after that. So again, Northern Hemisphere, you're going to be able to see it probably tonight if the clouds break, and Southern Hemisphere, you'll be able to see it starting in February, but at its closest, February 1st, February 2nd. Okay, I got to get out of here. The great one, Mark Levin, is on the way after an update of headlines from the Fox Newsroom. Before that, we'll hear from our friends at the Valley's Legends and Legacies. Thank you guys for your calls, for your time, for your attention. Again, thanks to Andrea Jones for hanging out with us the first couple hours of the show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you missed any part of the program, get the podcast at kmjnow.com or subscribe wherever you like to listen. Just search for KMJ's Afternoon Drive. Tune in, iHeart, Stitcher, Spotify. We're on all of them. Check it out. And I will see you tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock on the Afternoon Drive on KMJ. Have a great night. Stay dry, my friends.